Before I get started, I would like to issue this disclaimer. I am not a mental health professional. I am an individual who is passionate about mental health and topics related to mental health. Research has been done on these topics, and I am sharing my own personal experience. All conversation and information exchange are intended for informational and entertainment purposes only. Any information shared should not be used as medical advice or to self-diagnose. If you believe you are experiencing an emergency, please talk to your primary physician or call 911.
Extremely fascinated as a human about another intelligent life.
Welcome to a special episode, crossover episode of Mind If We Chat and Pour El Dolor podcast.
Hello.
Hold on.
Well, guys, we finally got together to do a special crossover episode. This is really cool. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Welcome aboard.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for hosting
Welcome to the
us
spaceship,
too.
right?
It's about to get weird.
What are your thoughts on aliens? Right off the bat. No introduction, no
This
nothing.
is too intense. I can't talk about this.
We're going, you know what? Today I was like, how should we, no, you know what? Just go right to it. No, I'm just
Talk about
kidding.
the aliens.
Welcome aboard. How you feeling?
I feel good. I feel really good. I'm glad to be here. Thanks for
Nice.
having me.
Nice.
You know, this is really cool for us to get together, you know, since we're all on one channel.
Right.
You know,
South by Southeast. Shout out.
Woo!
That's, yeah, quick shout out to them because they, like the Wu-Tang, they spawned it. And one of the main objectives from the beginning, they wanted to branch out in multiples and grab local talent. And that's what they're doing.
Yeah, definitely.
Pretty dope. It's pretty dope to see it actually from the beginning to what's going on now.
The evolution of
I'm
it.
still waiting for the radio station and everything. I know he's working, but it's in there. I want the radio station. I'm going to be a DJ on it. Okay, I'm sorry.
Jedi Hour.
Yeah. I digress. We'll go back.
No, but they're some of the coolest people I've
Yeah,
definitely
absolutely.
met. I'm really glad to be, you know, in company with them and to call them friends now. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I just hanging around with Mike the other day. He had, he's been busy. So he hit me up because we're supposed to deliver the giveaway for the trees, the Christmas trees. So we went and picked it up at Tochi La Diosa. Shout out. If you want to shop local, go over there. And then so after that, we went to eat. And I never went to that fish spot by 95th and by the bridge. I never actually ate there. So I went to go get some fish. And then he got a burger from the burger joint right down the street. And then we were just chilling. They were so happy of like what we're doing. And it's amazing to hear that, you know, because everybody's so busy. We're still able to grow. And then providing everything that we need, the platform, the equipment, and everything. They're amazing. Thank you guys.
Yeah, thank
Hit the
you
button.
guys.
Hit the button. There you go. So, since we're doing a crossover, she gave us the intro. I want you to give us your beautiful, magnificent.
Introduction.
When he speaks, his mind's just how he speaks is how I believe he thinks. So it's bing, 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 bing. It's coming into him, and that's how he speaks. And I love his intros because they get in depth, and they go from it. But that's how he thinks, like an artist painter. Do. So, how did you meet? Mind If We Chat, Miss Sarah?
I'm trying to figure out. We met through when you guys did the first walk event. What is it called?
The Suicide Awareness Walk?
The Suicide Awareness Walk.
Yeah.
We did that event, and I just remember seeing everybody there, which was amazing, and like seeing like your energy in person, because this is like it's always good to like when you hear about people or kind of, but to actually meet them and like feel their energy. Like I felt it, and I'm like, you were so happy, and then you were there helping set up everything because we had a nice little setup in the side for people to eat food and drinks. And yeah, so I met you through there, and then I became more closer to you as a person because I'm like, oh my gosh, she's amazing. And then every time we did something, you came to support. Mm-hmm. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And I met your son, your husband. You guys are amazing.
Thank you.
Ever since then, like all the episodes you've done just makes me learn and educate myself about mental awareness, and you actually opened up to some doors to me where I took action because hearing your episodes, like Sarah, the crystal ball healing, the reason I got to know her is because of you. Mm-hmm. And also Phoenix, remember Phoenix?
Yeah, the Phoenix.
Yeah, it's a crew of people. What is it called? I don't want to say the wrong thing.
It's the Phoenix, and they're based. This part is based out of Chicago, and they do that Edgar's Grove walk. Jack from the Phoenix, really nice. He was a volunteer, and now he is an employee there. Like,
oh wow,
he's very passionate about what he does, and he shared a story with me. And I mean, just him bringing that awareness to our community. Like, there's stuff out there that sobriety walk, you know,
sobriety walk.
It's the hike. It's just, we went together.
Right. Yeah. And I was able to get that opportunity because of you, listening to you, and I jumped in it. Mm-hmm. And that's also something that I want to tell people. When you're listening, you hear something that might help you, go for it, jump on it. Don't be scared. So I right away, just like Sarah, just like Phoenix, I messaged you right away. Hey, what's going on with this? I need info. And then you provide me all the info. Mm-hmm. And so far, you've been there kind of to guide it too. Because of Phoenix, you were there. Mm-hmm. And then Sarah too, you were there. So thank you for that. But more importantly, thank you for opening these doors for me and connecting me to people. And which is ultimately making me connect to myself, which is amazing because
you're gonna make me cry.
yes.
Tears in my eyes.
Yes,
it's amazing. Like what you're doing, it's amazing, and I love what you did with the veterans too, and you've been touching a lot of subjects, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful to hear. It's like I told you, like your intros are like calming to me. I go into it like. All right, this is Sarah talking. You need to listen up.
I appreciate that because it took me a long time to get here. Like I'm not a very outgoing person, you know, so it took me a while to get here. So we'll talk about that more. So Jedi, I met Jedi kind of the same way, right? Like we just saw each other and was like, hey. And I always try to support like what you guys do, like what everybody like in the kind of group does, just because I know how important support is. You know, without support, without community support, without each other, can't really move forward. It's just harder, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm glad I know you guys.
You grew up in South Chicago.
I did.
I did. Without giving out areas, like what, where, and how
I'm
is
fine
that?
with giving out areas.
You don't not say. Okay.
So I was born in South Chicago Hospital, now the Trinity Hospital.
Lord bless.
Yeah. bless. I grew up until like first grade on 91st and Commercial. Yeah. So I grew up there, and then I moved to Hammond, Indiana, because my parents just wanted to kind of give us a better life. So they thought Hammond was a good place. And then when I was about 15, 16, I moved back to Chicago, 85th and Escanaba.
Why?
My parents separated, and my dad just couldn't keep traveling from Hammond to. He used to work on Stony Island, so on like 75th and Stony Island. So he would have a far commute, and he just decided like I can't do the commute anymore. So you know, I lived with my dad after my parents separated. So I said, okay, well, I guess I'm coming with you because I'm not staying here. So, that's why we moved back. And then after that, I just stayed. Well, now I'm back. You know, you guys know I'm back to where I really spent the majority of my life. So,
how was that growing up in the South Chicago neighborhoods?
I mean, for me, it was fine. Like, my dad used to get really upset with me as a teenager because I would take the red line. It was a new experience, right? I didn't have that in Hammond. Like, we didn't have the train and all that stuff.
CTA passes.
It takes some courage to do that, though.
Right? No, but I was doing it late at night. I was, you know, because I was hanging out in Boys Town, and I would take the red line. So I was coming back home 8 hours. And my dad's like, Sarah, you don't understand. This world is dangerous. I'm
Right.
like, bro, but you're letting me go. You're giving me the money to get on the bus. you know, and I think my dad just trusted me, but it was just like the outside world he didn't trust. But, you know, and even now thinking about it, as a teenager, I was like, I'll be fine. But thinking about it, like now I look at myself, my teenage self, I'm like, you idiot. Like you could have got hurt. But
now that you have kids, you're like, will I let my kid do that?
and it's not even like, even before then, like when I was like 26, I'm like, I would never ride the train by myself that late at night ever again in my life. So yeah. And then you guys, what about you guys? Where'd you why am I like Jedi? I was looking at you.
Forgot what I was saying.
It's the T.
You're gonna use that one a lot.
Yeah, we do that quite a few. South Chicago, 87th. So 87th, my whole life. That was pretty interesting. I always consider it a different. Traveling from South Chicago and like East Side, there's different little community bubbles, hubbles, and its own little micro ecosystems, and each have, from my perspective, a unique set of characteristics. I think that's a good way to put it. So, yeah, growing up in there was very interesting.
Yeah. And you know what? It's funny because my husband lived on 87th his whole life.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, his whole life. So maybe you guys know each other prior to me, you know?
Probably, yeah. It's a small, usually tight-knit community.
Yeah.
So, absolutely.
Yeah. And then you, Voyager, where did you?
I grew up in the back of the yards for about 17 years. Yeah, so I remember my first house, like, until I was like 3. We grew up by, 49th and Winchester? No, not Winchester. I forgot, but most of my life I grew up on 48th and Laughlin. And
You forget where you live.
the first house, and I was 3 is because I can't remember the street name. But the majority of, I grew up on 48th and Laughlin. That was my childhood there, and it was a crazy childhood, even for a person that wasn't always out there doing shit.
Yeah. So you're here now. How do you like it?
I mean, I love it, man. That's why I always tell him I have a crazier perspective of you guys over here, because I come from the outside and I'm just learning now. And like Jedi has said before, I came like in a perfect time, where there seems to be like a motion moving forward, with a lot of people coming together. So like I said, every fucking episode almost, it's not a coincidence that all this happened because of 93 Studios. They did a pop-up event. Detail, I think they like a record art. They you like vinyls and do art on it.
Yeah.
And I got invited to it if I wanted to bend, and that's how it started. Ever since then, every summer I'll be over here doing events.
Yeah. It's really cool.
Amazing.
Like, it's really cool to see people, like I said, come together and be with each other, because I feel like we live in such a time where people are just so insensitive now and they push people away. Like, I read a lot of things, and it's just because I'm interested. I've been married for a long time. So I like reading these things about like how people like go through relationships now. Everything just seems so fast. You know, you can find somebody on a dating app and, oh, well, I don't like the way you look. I'm just going to go left. So all that stuff just kind of interests me. And it's just like, so when I see people come together and actually genuinely love each other and genuinely want to be together, it makes me feel good. It makes me happy.
Definitely. And it brings the best out of yourself, being around those people.
Yeah, definitely does. Well, I will say that is very true.
I remember we did the But the Dolor event, and I took a picture of you. I remember you posting, and you're like, "Oh, he just happened to capture a perfect moment." I was happy, like, and I think that the people you surround yourself with bring that out of you too.
Yeah,
you know?
And that is true because so Vicky and I, were really close in high school, and then we
Shout
kind
out
of
to
went.
Poco Picoso.
We kind of went separate ways, started our own lives and things like that. But coming back together with her, I feel like there's a piece of me that's back.
Oh,
Like there is this
wow.
big piece of me that came back.
That's
like
beautiful.
because we were just oh my god, like if you see me and Vicky together, you're like, oh fuck, I know some stuff is about to happen. Like I remember we went to a painting at Dochi's over the summer, and Krista and Mikey were there, and Mikey's just looking at us like, what is wrong with them? Because all we do is just laugh and laugh
Oh
and
my
laugh.
God.
And I remember it getting really quiet, and all you hear is me laughing. And I'm like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, everybody. But it's just like, I feel like she brings out a lot of good in me. Because she's just, I don't know, like you just vibe with people, and she's like my best friend sometimes.
Oh,
That's amazing.
I should say all the time, yeah. She's like one of my best family members, and I'm really lucky that I have her.
that's beautiful.
Yeah, and she's, one of the main reasons why I came around too. We've talked about the margaritas we had, and how I connected with people in the group. So yeah, I'm really lucky to have her.
You know what's funny? Sometimes when you have your episodes with her, because there's like some good episodes you have with them, and you're always most of the time drinking too, just chilling, and you guys are just laughing, having fun.
Yeah.
And I get it. Yeah, definitely hear it.
Yeah, you definitely, and like people see it too. I remember Inez kind of telling us before, like, oh my god, it's so nice to see you guys together, because that's all you do is laugh. Like, I wish I had a cousin like that. And I just feel so lucky to have a relationship like that. Because for me, it can be kind of hard to build relationships with people.
Why do you think that is?
Just because I can be kind of introverted sometimes, so people take that as like, oh, she's such a bitch. Like, she's stuck up. Like, what's wrong with her? It's just sometimes I just don't really know what to say. So I just kind of hang back, So that's why I said, like, a lot of the things that have transpired for me with, the start of the podcast has kind of brought out pieces of me that I didn't even know existed.
I heard, like, I loved it because on the last episode that I heard, you were talking about that, how now you're doing things, you're jumping into things, and like, or with your new job, like how you were like, at first you were like, no, I don't want to do this, and then later you're like, why not? And you thought about it, like, why not? You do it, and it's amazing to hear and amazing to see.
Yeah, and it feels good, right? Like, it feels good because for me, I feel like I can give someone hope that, you don't have to be stuck in like old ways. You can change at any age you want to change. And you're allowed, it's your life. Live it the way you want to live. Don't live for other people.
Right.
So, it's a good shift. All good shifts. But, so how about you guys? I feel like I'm talking about myself too much. See, I get all uncomfortable.
Stop. We're having a conversation. I'm letting it soak in. I have 1,000 questions. Don't worry.
Okay,
Don't
so I'll
worry.
let you guys ask.
No, we don't worry about anything. Don't think. Hey, I like that. Hey, we're gonna have a little "don't think" sticker. Just let it fly.
Yeah,
Get
don't think.
comfortable.
That doesn't happen for me.
No, just don't think. Don't think. Don't overthink.
Right.
I'll try
going
my
good.
best. I'll try my best.
One of the questions, I wanted to ask at first, what made you kind of start the podcast? But no, I'm gonna rephrase that.
Okay.
What made you? Where was the? I want to know your thought process where it went from. Okay, I like helping people to let me actually get on a microphone and speak to people, because you kind of said you're introverted.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me, you're introverted. But then when you do a podcast, it's kind of the opposite, because you're speaking to potentially hundreds of people. You don't X amount of people, and you could be reaching the masses, which is kind of an extroverted kind of thing to do. But you're doing it solo. But I want to know what made you jump. Like, you know what? I'm actually gonna speak.
Yeah, I think the idea came from listening to podcasts. Case Kenny's New Mindset Who Dis kind of podcast. But it's funny because it's like relationship based, but I found things that, the relationship with myself. Like, how can I repair this? Because me and me are just not aligning. It's like, no, this can't happen anymore.
What do you mean, me and me aren't aligned?
So, like, your inner self. You're like, my thoughts and my heart were just not in sync, if that makes sense. Like, I want, in my mind, I'm like, I have so much potential, but my heart's like, no, stay. Like, you're too anxious. Just stay the
So your heart's
same.
telling you.
My heart is telling me, you were fine, we're content.
Right.
But my mind is like, you're built for so much more. Go, run, be free.
Ooh.
Interesting.
Yeah. And it's like, I'm fine with staying the same.
And it seems like the mind is winning.
The mind sometimes gets a little anxious, but that's a whole nother story. No, but in all seriousness,
It's the balance.
in all seriousness, I felt like I just needed something more in my life. And like I said, listening to the podcast, my family and I were sitting around and we're talking, and it's like, if you guys can do something, anything like, that you wouldn't feel held back from, what would it be? They gave me their answers, and they're like, what would you do? I was like, a podcast. They're like, a podcast? You could do that, right? I was like, I can, but then that means I have to talk. But then, and going back to what you were saying, I thought about it. No one's seeing my face. I'm just talking.
You're just talking.
I'm just talking. No one's gonna see who I am. I mean, no one. I could put anonymous. I could put an anonymous mask on. No one would know, right?
Absolutely.
So then I just said to myself, I'm gonna do it one day. That's all I kept saying. I'm gonna do it one day. Again, Vicky and I started talking over margaritas, and she said, "Here you go." Connected me, and here I am now.
All you hear is the machine, the ice machine. Cherry's like, oh shit.
Why?
Why?
Why? What is the purpose?
To help other people, because I know what it feels like to feel stuck. I know what it feels like. Wow. And it's like, for me, I've always kind of been one of those people, like, it makes me happy to see other people happy. And being able, if I have all this stuff in my head and I can let it out and help other people, whether that be my experiences with my mom, because I'm sure I'm not the only one walking around with a mother wound, or with a mother who's wasn't a very good mom. I'm sure I'm not the only one walking around with anxiety and depression and all these issues. So if there's something I can say that can help someone, why not? Why keep it in?
Beautiful.
Why keep it in?
I was going to save this for later, but it's kind of, that's a good segue. Have you ever heard of the phrase wounded warrior? No, excuse me. The wounded healer.
The wounded healer.
Have you ever heard of the phrase, or I don't know what the actual verbology is, but the wounded healer? Carl Jung. Have you ever heard of him?
I have not.
Oh, we're about to dive deep. So, what you said earlier about your mind and your heart speaking, that's very similar to I believe Jung, if I can pronunciate. One of the pioneers of the brain and analyzing. He talks about doing like shadow work. There's a shadow, and what you described is pretty much very similar. There's a voice inside certain people. Well, usually, the majority of people, there's a certain voice. And depending on the experience or the trauma or that voice can be very detrimental to one's psyche or progression, or it can be very helpful. It can be you can do it. And when times get tough, some people's voices, no, don't stop. Others people, stop. Your feet hurt. You're tired. Why you're running? Go home. There's a juggling of that. And to balance the force, you have to duel with that dark self. And what you're doing is you're dueling with the dark self on air, and you're speaking to other people who are also dueling. And it's a balance of the force that you're benefiting on so many levels. And I think, again, we speak about this so many times, us as humans, we're still learning about the brain. We're still learning how to heal. We're still learning about trauma in general. Not just us right now, but humans overall, the whole on Earth. We're barely learning the effects and how to heal and everything. So if we can talk about it, if you learn something and I learn something, if we can share it together, fuck. Yeah. That's that positive ding, 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 ding. Because it's we don't want, if we went through something horrible, we wouldn't want our friends or family members. No. There's a better way to do it. Learn from my mistakes, learn from our mistakes, and it's a ping pong accumulative effect.
Yeah.
And I really that's I'm gonna send you some links.
Please do.
And I have like 3 books for you that I know you probably love. But there's a few videos about the psyche, and they're very mental and fitness, physical related. You can pretty much plug and play, just mix it, and it's the same thing. It's a battling of that pendulum, of that voice, and where that voice can be because of your mom, because of your dad, because of a horrible teacher, a horrible experience. But if you learn how to maybe not silence it, but to battle with it, to learn, David Goggins, learn how to use it for fuel. Mm-hmm. Wait a minute. Now if you take that horrible negative and you turn it into fuel, and you either use it for a physical, like running, or music, or art, or poetry, whoa, now we're tapping into some fucking, to me, that's some alchemy. You're taking, and you're turning into gold. You're taking a negative. Oh shit, that's some ancient knowledge. Alchemist, like, whoa, that blows my mind.
So now you have me thinking. Now you have me thinking.
Brought
now
to you
this
by
is
marijuana and Carl Jung.
This is for both of you guys. Now you have me thinking. So we all struggle. I mean, we all do. We all go through shit. We cope through it differently. Mm-hmm. How do you let it fuel you?
Repeat the question. How do I let it fuel?
How do you let it fuel? Because you said about letting like all those negative things fuel you. You can either let it really sink you down or fuel you. How do you let it fuel you?
I found early lifting weights. Lifting weights was, for some reason, like I took a pill in 30, 40 minutes. Everything that I was kind of worried about, it gone. My attitude, like, very similar to someone smoking. If you smoke, then everyone, they chill out afterwards. Lifting weights, and that was a physical way for me to, whether it was if I was angry or sad or anything, that was a multiplier. That was my way, my shield. Where, I'll go Freddie, we'll ping pong. I'll give you one and you go one.
To me, one of the most important things that let me, that negative stuff fuel me, was being a parent. Because for a long time, I'm not speaking bad about my parents, but there's a lot of things that they could have probably done a lot better. But now I'm an understanding that's why I love studying people, studying things, because I know my parents must have gone through something probably much worse than what I went through with them, you know? So I accept how they are in everything. I love them and everything, but from learning from that situation, it fuels me to be a better parent. And my kids, for a long time, I was turning into that person that just worked, came back home, and not like I always did things with my kids, but I would lose my frustration like this. Like I started seeing things that my parents were like right away something will annoy me, that the kids a little bit the noise was a little bit louder, they're laughing too hard, just little shit like that. Like I saw myself like becoming that, and I was like, no, I gotta change that. So that fueled me to be a better parent. And like I said before, sometimes it's a bittersweet moment when I'm a better parent, because one, I feel good that I'm a better parent, and it makes me feel good, but at the same time, the little kid in me is like, I didn't have that.
But you're giving that.
Yeah. So it's a duel, but it's just like, and it fucks with my mind. Especially when your kids start getting older and they're separating themselves from you. And that's how it is with my daughter right now. So a lot of things I reflect back, and I'm like, I think I'm doing things wrong, and I be telling my girl all the time, like if like one of my things that hurts me a lot is thinking to myself that I'm a bad parent somehow, or I'm not doing things right, and it reflects back to like my mom and how she is, how it always seemed like we did things wrong, we're doing things wrong. She always had like something to add on to make it better, instead of being like, you're doing a good job. So with parenting, that's something that we clashed too, because when I was living with them, and I had my kids, she was like, you know, her own little ways of raising a child, and I'm like, no, that's not how I do things. And it's just like her input's always like, you're not doing it good enough, you're not doing it good enough. So all that just messes me up. And now that my kid's older, like I said, and I'm having all these challenges of being a parent, separating myself, of letting them grow too. Like I tell you, I always tell my girl, like I get in tears talking about that shit, because like it makes me feel like I'm not doing a good job. But again, it fuels me to do better, to find ways to actually connect with her more. For example, like this weekend, she has one of her best friends. They went to the elementary school, and then they went to middle school, and they went to separate schools now. So one of her best friends is doing a play right here in Whiting. So she was like, hey, I want to go. And it was like, it's like 10 minutes. The play's about to start. So I'm like, how much is it? I was like, all right, cool. Because I'm like, is it cash? Or he said, yeah, cash. So I'm like, all right, cool. I got cash. Let's go. We left, got on there, happy. So that's like, again, it goes back to like maybe playing Uno is not a thing with us no more.
Yeah.
But those little moments are like, okay, then that's what fuels me, you know?
Yeah. I want to add something to what you said. So a while ago, it was quite a few months ago, you shared a picture. Your daughter was little, and you were playing with her. And I don't know if you guys were playing with a baby doll or a kitchen set. I think it was both. I think it was like a kitchen set. But you looked really young in the photo. And I looked and I was like, I messaged you too. And I said, oh my God, this is what we look for in our parents and our program. This is what we look for. The smile on your face, the eye contact you were making with her. Like just me observing that photo, I was like, can we use this for our brochure, please? Because it was probably one of the best photos I've seen. You were just very engaged with her playing.
Yeah.
So when you forget those moments, remember those moments. Yeah. The moments where you were engaged with her, because we're not perfect. Look, I work and go to school, and there are a lot of times that I look at my kid and I'm like, I feel bad. But I have to remind myself, I'm doing all this to better your life. I'm not doing this to hurt you. I'm not doing this because I want to be away from you. I'm doing it because I love you so much. I want you to have the best. Mm-hmm. And in order to give you the best, I have to make sacrifices, you know? So sometimes you got to alter the way we really look at things. Because I see you with your kids and like places you take them, giving them those experiences. Some of the best times I had with my dad were at the beach.
Right.
He wasn't spending no money. He wasn't going all crazy. They were just because he was giving me his time.
Right.
And that's all kids need sometimes is just your time. Get engaged. Like you said, finding what she likes. Maybe Uno isn't it anymore. Finding what she likes and doing that. You know, so you're on a good track. Anytime you feel like that, remember my voice in your head. Remember my voice telling you you're doing a great job, because you are.
Yeah, thank
you.
You
really are. I'm very proud of you.
But it goes back to my mental health and how I always battle. Mm-hmm. If it's not my kids, it's me, my relationship, my everything, and it's just like it's just a lot. And something that I want to talk about too is relationships, because I think relationships are hard nowadays, because more than likely you didn't grow up with a good relationship, parents with good relationship, and that shit comes back to you. It's just like with me, I see that I'm like my dad sometimes when it comes to like feeling annoyed by my mom. Like right away, she like it seems like he gets annoyed right away, and I started picking it up, and the only reason I picked it up for myself was because I seen another of my brothers be the same, and I'm like, wow, that's my dad. And then I realized, damn, that's like I'm like that too. So sometimes like, and it's hard because you like it's like you want, like, you even at that moment you understand that you're doing it and you're like, you can't stop it. It's like, stop. Sometimes I'll tell my girl, like, hey, right now I'm really being annoyed by you right now, like, and I don't want it. I know it's not what it is, so let me just give my little bit and let me calm down. And then so it goes back to like your parents and everything you're teaching. So relationships is hard because you do not know what love is. You didn't see it at home. You see it on TV, but once you jump in it, it's not even like TV.
Oh, hell no.
So you don't know what love is.
Yeah.
And you start attaching yourself to like what makes you feel good. You know what I'm saying? And like right now we're just talking like relationship are so fast, everything's so fast. And you gotta take that into consideration of a mind that works like that too. Because that shit, it's in the phone, but that way of thinking, that way of gets in your mind. Same way as your childhood gets in your mind and you start acting like shit you've seen in the childhood. Same with the internet now. It all connects, and so it's like it's a hard fucking balance. And it's and again it goes back to finding finding a person that you're willing to understand and they're willing to understand you.
Yeah.
And that's another hard balance because they grew up a certain way and you grew up a certain way, so you clash and you're still trying to learn everything. And nowadays everything's so fast paced that when shit goes wrong right away your mind's like, out.
Let's go. I'm out.
Next.
1 foot out the door.
Let's go. Next.
Yep. And it's funny you say that too, because then you have to factor in attachment style. What is their attachment style? What is your attachment style? You have to factor in love language. Well, how do you receive love? How do you give love? You know, you factor in all those things and it's just like, this is overwhelming. I just want to be single. Like, I don't want to deal with this. But it's true. I want to get your opinion. You're quiet over there. I need you to talk.
Well, you guys went on a whole tangent because the original question was, I'm just letting you guys talk and communicate, you know?
Yeah.
You guys are vibing. I'm going to ask you a question.
Okay.
What do you do to turn that alchemy, a negative, into a positive?
Ooh, sometimes it takes a little while. It really does. But a lot of self-reflection. Like, I really have to.
What do you mean?
So if something bad is going on and I want to put all this negative energy into it, right? Like, I want to feed it. Because there are some times where things happen. I'm like, oh, this person is pissing me off. Like, but then I really have to tell myself, is it really worth my time right now to give this? Do I really give my thoughts to this? Okay, what could I do? Okay, I see what I did wrong in the situation. I see where I am wrong. I see where I am a little bit justified in how I feel. But I need to leave this alone because it's not going to serve me anything. You know, this is how next time I interact with this person, this is how I can do things a little bit different. You know, and I always try to look at what I do because that's what I have control over, right? I have no control over how someone else responds to me.
Right.
But I have control how I respond to them. And that's all I can do. So that's what I like to do a lot is kind of like self-reflect on my interactions with people because I want to give people the best version of myself, but then I also want to set healthy boundaries. So that's another reason why I self-reflect. Did I set a healthy boundary in that interaction or did I kind of just say, okay, well, fuck it. I don't care. Let them talk to me however they want. Let them, you know. So those are some things that I do. And I do physical activity too, believe it or not.
I'm glad you said that because what I was thinking is, well, self-reflection is, it can be, depending on your process, it's one part. Mm-hmm. And there's multiple parts. And I'm glad you said the physical because I was going to say, well, also too, I'm going to give you another one. Another one I kind of ran into was running. Running was one of those things where at first it was like a negative. But in the right perspective, in the right group, I found it's an amazing way to turn any negative into a positive, into a fuel, into that. Self-reflecting, there's some kind of connection between the mental and the physical. That's what I'm learning right now. This is my journey. I'm learning there's journaling that just popped up in my brain. I just started journaling, and I got it from you. One of the first times.
Can we get an applause?
Yeah. I've always heard it, but when you said it, I'm like, all right. Sometimes it's on the phone. Sometimes I write it down on a scratch sheet of paper, throw it away. Sometimes it's digital. And that's it. And I learned I've kind of been doing that for a very long time. And sometimes if I'm off track, somehow, whether it's like from the phone or something, like I'll pop up or one of those memories, I'll read something. Oh, I gave myself advice. It's kind of funny. Mm-hmm. So I like when you said journaling, write down something, write down anything, write down. And when you spoke about self-criticism, I was going to ask, like, well, what do you do when someone, like, because my question was, what do you do to turn a negative into a positive? And the answer was, well, I self-reflect. Well, to me, that's like, well, I want more. Because self-reflection, it was missing the action, but you had the physical. Mm-hmm. So now I'm curious.
So a lot of the times I go for walks. Mm-hmm. Like, I can walk forever. Like, if you let me go, like, if my husband says, you know what, if you need time, go for a walk. All right, bye. I'll be back in like 4 hours. Like, I'm out of here. Because that walking, so one thing I learned in therapy is to do like mindful meditation. Because if I get up here and stay up here, it's not good. Yeah. It's definitely, I will stay in my thoughts, especially if I have like negative thoughts. Sometimes I can let them ruminate. Right. So they just go and go, and I'll just go even further and further. I have to try to say, no, stop. What do you see? What do you see right now? Oh, look at the bird. What is the bird doing? Because if I don't do that mindfulness, I could just go on. /
self-reflection, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But see, like, it depends. Every situation is different, right? Mm-hmm. So I can use, so if I'm really upset about something, maybe self-reflection isn't the best in that moment. Maybe I'll wait a little while, because I can't self-reflect if I'm dysregulated.
Right.
I need to come back and regulate first. So that's where the physical part comes in.
Oh, okay.
Go for a walk. I can get it out. So when you talked about lifting actually is really a good way to get out that physical tension in your body. Here I am lifting something heavy, running. You're moving everything. There's no time to really think. And you're releasing all that dopamine in your brain. So you ever hear the runner's high?
Oh,
I got a runner's high. I never caught that, because I don't run. I want to have a runner's high, but I just can't run.
Not yet. You gotta watch how you word your words.
And so like I said, like physically regulating and then being able to move into, different things. Like, okay, now I can self-reflect because now I'm calm. Because I've watched that bird fly over the water like 50 billion times. So now I'm able to like self-reflect. So there are definitely steps before.
Experience moment.
Oh, yeah.
Look around you. Look at the sun. Look at the clouds. Look at the birds here around you.
Yeah. Even thinking about like how the sun feels on my skin, like how it feels. How is the sun making me feel right now?
Well, those are like first steps to meditation. Is focusing on certain things like your breathing, your lungs, your everything, sounds, your body, what's your body feeling, and you enter that state of mind when you're like in the zone where you could really think and reflect and balance and everything, which I always point out in nature, doing that. So that's amazing that you had, like you said, you talked about the bird. Because I always reflect back on birds. Birds are a big thing to me. Like, one, I got a bird. that's because my mother always had birds. I got a bird here that represented a miscarriage. So to me, like, birds are like angels in a way. I always like to say the Mr. Rager song, you want to be one of them. He talks about the bird being free and just,
Yeah.
So something about the physical that I want to bring up also is that with a bad mental health and you focus a lot on physical, like straightening weights and all that shit, it could mentally fuck somebody up too, like to a point where a person takes steroids and everything to bulk up, and it's all about working out and everything, and they lose their shit with their.
I might have to disagree with you on that, my friend.
Yeah, because I just seen like a documentary with a guy that there was a bodybuilder and his wife ended up killing him. They were both bodybuilders, and their whole life was about working out, and they started being steroids and shit like that. And it's just like the bad mental health, no matter what you do, always takes over. So it's always like, how are you using the tool that you're using right now?
I think for that one, because I'm kind of edging to the side where Jedi is. Like, I get what you're saying, but
I don't know that.
I think that's something that could be totally different. Because what came first, them wanting to look better, and the quote unquote like bad mental health came about because of the steroids. Yeah. Right? Because a lot of people who use like enhancing supplements and stuff, that can throw them off.
Right.
But I feel like I don't think it's necessarily because of physical activity. I think it's there has to be issues underlining for that. Yeah.
There's psychological issues. Very psychological. From your current standpoint, you've learned a lot. You've interviewed a lot of people. What is you're a scientist right now. You have a white lab coat. I want you to Bob Ross these people. What is your current hypothesis on the state of our mental health as us, community, humans overall?
I think overall there's just a lot of like unhealed trauma. There's community trauma, all the shootings and things, like what people are seeing, what people hear on the news. I think the news has a big part. I don't watch the news. I haven't watched the news since COVID. I will not turn on the news.
The news to interject real quick, the news kind of turned into like business or clickbaity.
Yeah.
I want to get the most views but it's so much to digest.
It turns to social media. News is social media now.
Yeah, pretty much what it is. It's not informational. It's like Jedi just said, who can get the most views? Who has the better story? Yeah. Even if I have to throw in some fake stuff in here, I just need you to make my station important. So I think a lot of it has to do with what people experience. But I feel like we are talking about mental health more, which is good. So we're on a good track, right? We're on a really good track. It's like our older generations who don't really believe in this stuff. Oh, you're fine. Suck it up.
But why do you think, in your current doctor?
Well, the way they grew up. We keep it hush hush. Like their mindset, they're older. It's like, I hate to say the saying, but it's kind of like you can't teach old dog new tricks.
Yeah.
Again, my friend, I want to disagree.
But I mean, like, okay, look, like me and Vicky talked about this, and she's like, if the grandma from Encanto can change, so can all the people. But that's a cartoon.
Encanto.
And that's a cartoon. And I'm not saying every older person like looks at mental health the same way.
I think it takes a very impactful moment for them to change. Like to be completely honest, I've had people where they have mixed babies, and at first the grandparents are like, I don't want any fucking part with that. I don't want that. But once they have it, they love them.
Yeah.
That situation, that moment flipped them as a person. They're more accepting of things.
Yeah.
So I think it takes a big moment for somebody to really change their lives.
And so this is why I think I feel the way that I feel. So my dad was very much set in his ways. Very much like set in his ways. He was an alcoholic. He knew he was sick. I mean, the man was in a wheelchair. He was dialysis 3 times a week. He still drank. He stopped for a little while, but he fell right back into those old patterns. So, I mean, my dad was really, really sick, and he was still drinking heavily. And it was like, Dad, please get help. Please get help. And it was just, he didn't want, but see that's addiction that does that to you too. So in all fairness, I can't really say, oh, well, my dad just didn't want to change. I think at the core, he did really want to change, but he just couldn't. And I feel like that's what happens with some people. It's just, they're so stuck in their ways. They feel like, well, I'm already like this. Who cares? Buzz, not so Buzz. I love Buzz very much. No. If you hear in our episode, he said, "This is how I am."
Yeah.
I have 2 points about that. I'm glad when you said Buzz. I'm not even lying. The word Buzz popped in my head because on a totally different situation. Something popped up, but go ahead, continue.
But like I'm saying, it's no shade, no bad thing, but he literally said himself, this is how I am. Yeah. So that's kind of the mindset. Mm-hmm. It's the mindset. Right. This is how I am. Mm-hmm. You have to adjust to me. I don't have to change anything. You just adjust. Right. Like the world has to adjust to me, but it's like, that's not growing. Mm-hmm. You don't grow that way. You grow by saying, okay, this way is not working anymore. And that's why people change, right? Because they look and say, this way doesn't work anymore. I have to find a different way. And that's why people change. They want a different way.
Right.
So the other day, Buzz, I love you. We were talking about something. And it was the topic on health and fitness. And he said, I wish, let me see. He said something along these terms of, I wish I could take care of myself. And I was right next to him, and my whole body was just, like someone shook me. Because in my head, like, what's stopping you? But that's me. That's me and that's me. That's the fitness. That's the what's stopping you? In my eyes, you just opened up a business from scratch, and you're doing all this. Fitness is easy. You just to do what you do, and to have all of this from a mere dream. Taking care of yourself is nothing compared to what. And to me, there's a, like you said, there's a thing in people. I know I should. I know this Big Mac is bad for me. I know this fucking line of cocaine is bad for me. I know this beer. I know this. I'm about to whoop this fucking kid's ass. I know this is bad. I know I need to change, but I can't for some reason. And that's a sticky line for me, because now you're diving into addiction and trauma, and that gets real sticky, because that's generational, that's passed on, that's sometimes a gift that was given that sometimes people didn't want or don't realize they have until a certain situation brings it out. And I forgot what else. There you go. Hit the button.
I forgot what I was saying.
But
told you. There you go.
Something
there you go.
Like addiction.
I lost it mid.
Addiction.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Addiction.
And addiction is hard because, and that's when I talked about the fitness part. Is like, it's not so far of that. It's like any tool you use. If you use it as addiction, it turns bad.
Okay, see now what? Now I'm seeing your point
saying?
A little bit
it,
better.
It becomes bad.
Yeah.
So, for example, a person that will take physical health like that, they get so addicted to that, doing it, that they lose concentration on everything around them. Like, let's say for me, if my addiction becomes hiking, and I go hike all the time, and I forget about my kids, and I forgot about my relationship, and it just becomes hike. And if I didn't hike a certain thing at a certain time, I'm like, I come back all mad. Instead of letting it, that tool was using in a positive way. Mm-hmm. But because as it goes back to your mental health and you're using and you're using it in a bad way because you're in a bad place.
Yeah. Now I get more what you're trying to say. Now
Me.
I'm kind of like, no,
I'm still
no.
on the fence.
I get what he's saying though. It's like when someone goes to get plastic. Okay, I'm going to get a nose job. I hate to compare it to this, but I will because now I get what he's saying.
I might be able to get it.
I'm going to get a nose job just because I really kind of want to fix my nose. I mean, it'll make me feel better. Oh, okay. Look at all these compliments I'm getting. But I still feel like my nose is big. Let me go fix it just a little bit more. Oh, well, no, just a little bit more now. No, I need money. Now I'm out of money.
The Michael Jackson effect.
Yeah. And the nose is the only thing I can kind of compare it to. Like, someone loses weight. Okay, I just lost 50 pounds. This was my goal. But people are telling me how much I look good. Let me lose another 15 pounds. Oh, but wait, that's not a healthy weight. But I'll look better. And it gets in their mind. And it's like, well, I want to look good now. And I want to feel good. And, well, I haven't eaten all day, but that'll help me lose weight faster. Like, do you get it now? Does it kind of helping? Me. I totally understand what you're saying. Yeah. When you're taking something that's good and you're abusing it to a point where something that was supposed to be healthy becomes unhealthy.
I get it.
Yeah.
But like you said, I think again, it's so much deeper than that. That's psychological. That's
that I agree.
Yeah.
It goes. If you're hiking to the point where you're forgetting about your kids, it's no longer about the hiking, my friend.
Exactly. It becomes an addiction. It becomes a bad thing. Even though it's a good tool that people use and a good tool that you begin to use.
I don't think. I think there's far deeper problems. If some, like, you get what I'm saying. If someone's hiking where I just think you just need a better example. That's what I think. That's what I think. That's where the disconnect, I believe, is.
Okay.
But for me in my field, I've seen a lot of addiction. I've seen a lot self-sabotage. I've seen a lot of self-negative talk. And it's horrible. It's really, really horrible to see. It's horrible. And when people talk negative or talk, immediately my first thing is to stop. I don't know why I want to interject. Like, no, don't talk to yourself like that. Don't. That's bad. I don't know if that's a condition tool or something, but like the buzz thing, I wish I can. No, if you feel, I didn't influence him saying, Buzz, I think you should start. No, this came out of so it was his thought. And if he needs, or someone feels like, yo, I should get it, do it. Don't stop. Well, I don't know why there's always the hesitation. Do it, because there's benefit there. If there's hesitation, it's for a reason. There's going to be a lot of learning in that space. And for me, I don't know, there's a disconnect between one of the greatest tools for mental health is physical health. And for some reason, it boggles my mind, like I'm the one person that can see, and everyone else is kind of like an upside down bizarro world where no one utilizes it. No one really, really utilizes health and fitness. Because in my eyes, and from what I've seen, from my scientific notes, that can help tremendously, not only for the physical, but for the mental, on the level of pharmaceutical grade medicine. I know that's controversial, but when you go for a walk or you go for a run or you do anything type of physical, your mood shifts.
Yeah.
Almost immediately, which is wild. People pay money for that, for to get that in a pill. Now I'm so depressed. They're gonna give you Zol. They're gonna give this. What does that do? That does the same fucking thing that a 2-minute run or a 2-minute jog or a Zumba class or And to me, it's there's, for some reason, reading journal notes. I'm journaling now. There's a disconnect. Why? Big question mark in my journal. Why? Why is it not utilized? Why do we know we need that? We know we need some type of physical health. We're learning about mental. To me, it's kind of weird. We're learning more about little bit more mental than physical. But the physical is kind of shimmying in there.
So I have to interject. I have to. 'Cause
Absolutely.
It's burning in me. So when you're depressed,
Ooh.
majority of the time,
Ooh,
you
yes.
can't get out of bed.
Yes, yes.
You can't.
We're
You're
about to tango
so
right now.
you're
Yes.
so tired that you can't even get out of bed.
Yes.
When you have social anxiety, I can't be around people. So why am I going to go to a gym? Like I can't. I don't want to be around anybody. If you have agoraphobia, you don't even want to leave your house.
Absolutely.
And people think I have to go to the gym. That's the only way. That's the only way I could get physical
Yes.
fitness. They don't realize you can walk around your apartment. That's
Absolutely.
physical fitness. Yeah. But not everybody sees it that way. They just think fitness is gym.
Yes.
But to
glad
go
you said that.
to go off what you're saying, how can you? I agree with you 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Physical fitness is underrated. It is very good for your mental health. But how can you do that when you can't even you're so depressed you can't get out of bed, or you have anxiety where you don't want to be around anybody?
I 100% agree. I 100%, yes. But that's part of the battle. If someone's in a shitty, dark place, I mean, we probably all felt, I don't want to fucking go to work. I don't want to get out of bed, man.
Oh, hell
I just
yeah.
want to fucking sleep. Like, fuck, man, stressed. But there's something in telling that voice, shut the fuck up. I'm going to go for this run. Shut up, voice that's telling me I got this and there's always excuses. To me, I learned, and now we're learning from David Goggins and Joe Rogan and all these other there's something in the discipline. It doesn't have to be weightlifting, doesn't have to be macho, but no, there's something in fighting that fear, facing that fear. If you're afraid to go to the gym, there's something liberating, like, you know what? Fuck that. I'm going to go to the gym, and I don't give a fuck what you think. I'm going to get my workout in. Yeah. It's that perspective shift. You win that battle. You win that hill. You win that. And little by little, you're adding on. That's the chinks to the armor. That's, oh, shit, before you know it, you're almost a different person. Or you're on your way to accomplishing things you couldn't think possible before. So that's where my tango is. I agree with you, because that is like depression. It will keep you in the bed. It does. It fucks with your sleep. It fucks with your eating. It's debilitating. It is. There's no joke. There's no depending on the severity, that shit it's bad. It's very, very bad. But the counterbalance, however, and also what I also learned, journal notes, we can get inspired, we can get motivated by a video or somebody else, but it has to come from in. If it doesn't come from in, it's not gonna last. No. It might be 1 month, it might be 3 months. The relapse will happen, whatever relapse that is. Alcohol, this, that, negative talk, negative self-talk, or relationship problems. If that battle doesn't happen, that inner duel, yeah. And that duel, like a dojo, can happen when you said self-critiquing, all right, if something triggers me or something, stop, pause, let me check myself before I wreck myself. Let me get my thoughts, let me get my words. You can do that via running. Getting mad, if you get mad and for whatever situation, you have the ability to immediately go for a run, I will tell you that shit, you'd probably have an amazing run. That'd be one of the highest highs possible. It's something in that fuel. I don't know what it is. Again, journal notes. I'm a human. I'm an alien. I'm learning. Like, there's fuel in that. There's like adamantium, alien, superhuman fuel in that, turning pain into fuel or turn into an outlet. There's something there, and I don't know what it is. But again, to counter fighting that voice. No. Yes, you're tired. Yes. But imagine, this is my perspective. On top of that, Imagine how badass I would be with all those excuses. And I still get this shit done. I still get my run in. I still get my mental health. I still get my physical. And I don't let any external thing fuck with me. That's my just journal notes.
And then I think the key thing is for you to turn that knob on where you just go for it. But don't also, like you said, don't be afraid to take small steps to get to that point. Like for me, a key thing for people to do anything is having other people like reach out an arm. It's like, I got you, I'll guide you. For example, like the walk. How many of those people that went to that walk probably never walked before or even walked that trail? Mm-hmm. But because there was a group, they felt motivated. Or like when Jedi goes to his runs. I got motivated to go run with him once because I seen him there, and that to me that was like a reach. Like, I got you. Come on, let's do this. Let me show you the way. Yeah. Buzz, Mike, when we were doing the bicycles, he joined us.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna get Buzz. I'm gonna get him.
He bought a bike for the purpose of using it, because again, that little step of doing it as a group.
Yeah.
Then everybody got busy and we weren't able to do that no more.
But you got him.
Yeah.
He showed me pictures. He again.
Proud of you, Buzz.
No, yeah. He found that self. He's a perfect example. He was working full time, and he'd wake up in the morning, and sometimes he'd do 2 a days. This man was disciplined. He was whatever he was. I'm not gonna have any fucking excuse. I need to hit this. It was. When he told me that, I'm like, bro, that's amazing. That is rare. That's what. If you apply that, and he applied that to the business, and you see, so there's something in it.
It also makes me think as you're talking about this, though, and I really like that you talked about, Voyager, that you talked about support, because that's important, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's important. But what I feel like you're touching on is resilience.
Well, Voyager adds a counterbalance because support's amazing. Mm-hmm. Support can, journal notes, support can take a unconfident, I don't want to go for a run. You're kind of curious, and if I make the experience fun and happy, he's gonna join me again. I'll give you another one. I ran with Cosmo. Different. This man is fast. He did not care about my speed or anything. I told him, I was a little hungover. He's, that's cool. And he dusted me. He left me. My main objective was to keep up with him. That was not a pleasant experience. But I told him, I needed that. I needed that. Don't be nice to me. No, don't. I need to be pushed. Because if I want to get better and faster, you babying me is not going to get me faster. You running a little bit faster, making me chase that carrot a little bit faster. So to me, it's a duality. Support, amazing. Mm-hmm. It can change the world for somebody. For a business, for a person, for a young kid, support can mean everything. But at the same time, journal notes, it might not be there. So don't rely on it. Don't be disappointed if it's not there. Learn to be your own support system. Because in times, you might not have any support system at any given time of your life. And if you don't have it and you don't know what to do, choppy waters. Because now you're lost. You're lost at sea. So you got to learn that self-resilience, that self-reliance, that take care of yourself.
Mm-hmm. So how do you do that?
South Chicago taught me. That's why I hold South Chicagoans in a very...
It's in the hat. It's in the beanie. It's in the beanie.
Repeat that. What was it?
How do you give yourself self-support?
What you say, I talk to myself. But my voice is... it's very... one can say... not harsh because that would be kind of like negative, but critical. If I'm doing a task, I told Voyager...
Constructive criticism?
No, like blunt. Like if I'm being tired, no, don't be fucking lazy. Get up. Like blunt to the point. And I kind of need that. Because that's, like you said, one points you in it, but no, this one, it's, no, don't. Keep doing whatever it is, if it's physical, if it's mental, if it's with, perfect example, when me and Freddie first started working, whatever I kind of want to put my name on something, I want it not just to be, you've seen it, the word, it's chronic. The word chronic can mean, well, a perfect example. How do you feel? You're not going to offend me when you first see the word chronic. What's your first thing that pops in your head?
Marijuana.
Yeah, to me it was like a negative, like chronic, like weed, and that was my first thing when we first designed, the first when we first started collaborating. I didn't like it at all. No, but then we put for the pain underneath it. That was my other little footnote I wanted when you were talking to Buzz. You said when Buzz was smoking, no, you're masking. I wanted to footnote it when he said Buzz used to smoke. And you said something along the lines no, I wanted to interject. Now, cannabis can be used. We'll save that. We'll save that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But when we look, perfect example.
I wore that to IHOP with my family when I went out to breakfast. And I had this lady look at my son and then look at me like, why are you wearing a sweater that says chronic? That was her face. She didn't even say anything.
No.
And I looked at her face like,
that.
Yes, proud.
That was my first initial, when we were designing, I'm like, I don't know about the word chronic because that can send people that wrong message.
Right.
And I said, I don't want to put my name on that if it's just like that, because to me, we're sending the wrong message. Yes, I partake, but I don't think that's the message I want to send. But when we added that to the bottom for the pain, it's an outlet. It can be used as a medicine. Oh, that's a little different. Then we can start a conversation if someone asks.
yeah.
Then I think it'll be different versus just that blatantly on top. So for me, it was just self-critiquing, if I'm going to put my name on it, I want a certain quality, so I always try to, all right, well, how can I get better? How can I, in some way, shape, or form, I want to, my personal thing, like a video game, how can I increase my XP and everything? Because I want to be a supreme dope Jedi. Where just me personally, that's my personal journey.
Yeah.
Some interest me, I want to be good. That's just something like that. So it came something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go.
So I have to ask, because I'm curious, how did you guys meet? Earlier we talked about how we all met, but how did you guys meet?
South by Southeast podcast, episode number 17.
Dang,
Oh wow, that's love right there. Because you the date and time.
Memorized
What was
it.
he wearing? The sunlight, the way it hit his eyes.
It was because of the podcast.
Right.
Okay.
And if anybody knows Freddie shows love. Freddie's a big, warm ball of love. He's always smiling. Yo, what's up? I've learned manners from this man, just watching him. Wherever we go, I watch. It's just part of my indoctrination of. So when we go anywhere, he always hi to everyone, shakes everyone's hand, super proper. How you doing? Everything. He's a genuinely nice dude, and he's not doing it just to do it. That's him being him, and people vibe with that. And then when I heard the story of the 783, and I'm like, oh, okay. And then when we smoke and just talk, I'm like, oh, okay, we're on the same vibe and frequency. And for me, there's not that many people that I can vibe and chill. And we discussed before, I can certain discussions and conversations depends on the individual. This man, we vibe on multiple things. I can hang out. He's not on shit if we're going out to anywhere. I go out with this man, we're gonna have a good time. Yeah. Plain and simple. So because of the podcast and then just hanging out with him, we started collabing together more and more. And then his nature thing is very similar to my fitness thing. Go out in nature, go out and pause, take some time for yourself. I'm on the same vibe. Like, yo, take some time out, go for a hike, gym doesn't have to be just fitness doesn't have to be gym and Planet Fitness or LA Fitness or membership. No, I've seen people do amazing shit for free on their own time. You don't have to pay for a personal trainer. You don't have to pay for anything. You could do it on your own. We have the phone. They have the fucking world in our hand.
Right.
We can learn anything.
The internet isn't just for porn.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's like 90%, but you got 10% of the other shit.
It's like the Dave Chappelle skit where he's in the internet.
Oh shit.
Oh man.
Take care of yourself. That's one of his main messages that I received. Take care of yourself. Take care of your mental. Me, I'm taking care of your physical. So when we collide and we clash, we learn. We learn from. I like that. I like learning from different people. So I'm like, and this is where we're at right now.
Right.
We're at a wild journey in our voyage so far. And I want to see how far it takes us.
Yeah. Well, I love to see it because I think you guys together really, like, you can tell when people just, it's like with me and Vicky, when we're together, it's just like a good time. But you could tell when you guys are together that it's genuine and it's real. There's real love there. So I always love to see that. It makes me happy.
Thank you.
And that's something I want to point out too, is that I love how I learn from him and how he learns from me. And that's something that I value, something with Jedi. Cause any relationship, I like seeing. Some reason I like Bone Thugs too is because they're always sketchy about the relationship, the group breaking apart, coming together, but they always say we're family. So no matter if we don't see eye to eye, we're still family. So that's something that I've learned through him, working on collabs and everything, working with the podcast, working just the way I work, having another person to be like, yo, chill. It's like, let's take it easy. Let's make sure it's a good thing. Because I'm a very fast pace. So something I value from our relationship is learning from each other. I've seen that I've learned a lot from him. A lot of that some people might see it in a bad way or some kind of take it in a bad way. But no, to me, like I understand people and I like to learn. So before I question it back, I always be like, let me pause and let me think about what he's saying right now. It's true. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And that's something that I've learned with, like I said, parenting, relationship-wise, friendship-wise, something that I'm learning to do, just learn from people. And this is something, like, to me also, he's like he's like some kind of guide through the east side to South Chicago through this, because he's taking me to places. He said, this used to be like this here. He's the one that got me more involved in 93 Studios. He's like, hey, this. So he's like a guide over here too. Food spots, drinks. Like, he's just a guide, period. So I'm learning from him, you know. And I think he's, as far as a lifestyle of people that lived out here, I think he's a perfect example of that. I'm someone that really grew up in that lifestyle and what they were known for, but learning now and learning to change and seeing that change in person. Like, that's something that, like, I also value from us, apart from, like, our collaborations and everything we do. And that's something big too, that we both the angelic lettuce, we see it as a very positive, therapeutic thing, and it's something that I connected with him right away, and how he ties it a lot to his methods, and I love that. To me, a lot of things, these supplements or something you do are like sometimes like a defense shield, defend you from the world, defend you from your mind, defend you. But to me, we take it as like a sword. We battle, we duel. It helps us, and it helps us think more straight. So that's something that again has helped us in a relationship too. That we both see it like that, and we both want to express that same kind of feeling out of it, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God. It's beautiful. I really do. I think you guys have a really solid friendship, and I like seeing you guys together.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
So what inspired the podcast? For the Pain? What inspired? What was your main goal of wanting to do the podcast?
So the first time that Por el Dolor phrase even started, I mentioned before, is Steve Wobbs was doing he was showing his documentary. Mm-hmm. So we went and we said, hey, you want to bend? So I went, took some of my stuff. Slackers was there too. Shout out to Dave. And he was wearing a poncho. So when we were outside, we took our smoke break. Like it all kind of clicked. Like he had the poncho. So in my head, like we talked about this dude from King of the Hill. He's always like, Vaya con Dios. Like this old,
I forgot his name.
Latino heritage, like kind of in the boys.
Yeah.
So I looked at him and he was with his poncho just smoking, like an old rancher to me. Like,
He said, Vaya con Dios.
I was like, Por el Dolor. And then from there, like, we started conversating about that actual phrase, Por el Dolor. And I told him, like, I had a friend that was going through something, and I know when I gave him that, he doesn't smoke. He smoked before, but it was a negative experience for him. And he's like, you know what? He was going through some stuff and mentally, and he's like, hey, bro, can you sell me some stuff? And I'm like, no, I give it to you. This is from me to you, bro, and I hope it helps you. And then from there, I talked about that experience, and to him, it was more a therapeutic experience to go through those emotional things and what it does to, like, help you understand things to me the most, you know. Mm-hmm. So when I told him about that, we conversated about that, and then the next thing that happened is I had an idea for a Chronic shirt, and I wanted to work with him. Because something also that I've learned is with the Senso Bean and all that.
Yeah.
Like his product is like, I love how he approaches things, because it's like it's always about, he studies a situation, he studies what he gets into, and he learns the best ways to express what he wants to get it out of it. So like the Senso Beans, he's like, this is Senso Bean. It's not too up there. It's nice and mellow. So when you're at home, you just want to chill. It's just perfect. And then later on, I started doing some different, more potent things just to kind of get where he was coming from. Like, this is how you're going to feel. This is how you feel. So, so with all that knowledge, it's just like, I wanted to work with him. Like, cause he the way he portrays it is not, it's like I said, it's like a positive thing, you know? Mm-hmm. So I want to work with him. Let's work together, because we already both think like this. Mm-hmm. And then that's when everything started coming out. But you also had mentioned it to Mike before that we wanted to do something, because it was getting so hard for us to get together.
Yeah.
And we're always in these situations. We're always going out and meeting people, and they're telling us these amazing stories. Like, wow.
Yes, amazing stories.
And he's always like, imagine if we had a mic and we recorded these stories, and people could learn. And so, like, you know what? Let's talk to Mike.
So for me, again, to go back to it, the best way I can kind of give you like a story, the way I kind of process things is, you ever see The Last Dance with Michael Jordan?
No.
Documentary.
I've heard.
I'm going to summarize it. So Michael Jordan's a basketball player for the Chicago
Well, I know
Bulls.
who that is.
So his work ethic is extreme, where he'll not only talk shit to himself, he'll talk shit to you. And similar to like a Kobe Bryant, I want to be one of the best, and I'm going to put in work. And if you're going to be on my team, I want my team to be as good or as close to be. I don't want my team to suck. So he has a certain work ethic that he kind of, if you're gonna be on the team, you want to be great. This is what we got to do. We got to put in the work. And for me, I apply that to weightlifting, and I'm learning because of the podcast, when we sit down with these other individuals, they took what I took with fitness and they made clothes, or they made this, or they did this, and that's a universal key. I'm learning. So now when I work with this guy or anything, there's certain, wait, I don't want to rush. If I'm with that, I want to be careful of what I portray, what I say, what I put out, to an extent how it's received.
Yeah.
When we were talking at the Steve Walsh thing, he mentioned his buddy was having a bad time or something like that. So I think he left him a blunt, or he gave him like an eighth of weed or something.
Yeah.
And the dude was like, yo, I don't got no money. Nah. I said, that's what, it's for the pain. How many times have we've seen one of our friends like in a bad time? Anytime. And it could be anything. Yo, let's go grab a beer. Okay. Let's go grab a burger. Let's go grab a movie. Let's go talk. Let me just go sit down with you. It's an outlet, Or it could be a kind act of generosity. It could be something, but the main objective is a pain release. It's the wounded healer. I felt like that before, and someone else is out there in the world feeling like that. What can I do to kind of change that? It could be a nice thank you, ma'am. It could be a smile at Starbucks. It could be a tip. It could be something and that sparked my synapses in my brain. Like ding, 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 ding. Because what I did with fitness, I can do in multiple fields now. How I can help people, fitness-wise and losing weight-wise. That's not just me. That's not just my identity. I can be multi-talented. I can help people on multiple levels, multiple ways. Not only via physical lifting weights and yes, that's cool. But what I'm learning as a human, there's so much more to that. That's only one part of fitness. And now what I'm learning, it's only one part of mental health and mental healing. There's yoga. There's 27 different types of yoga. What? There's classes on breathing, on like rhythmic breathing. Yeah. Miss Sarah Maria, Tibetan Tibetan bowl healing. That shit was wild. That was interesting. What is that? That's a mini psychedelic trip to me. Like, whoa! I walked around and I was like, oh, everyone had a fucking mini psychedelic trip.
Right.
In 20, 30 minutes. No drugs, just quieting the mind, getting in the right vibe or frequency. Whoa! What an amazing tool the mind is, and the different outlets or different ways to trigger certain things. That fascinates me. So having the Por el Dolor, having that's not just smoking. Yeah, that's one of the first things we did. But to me, there's so much more. There's so much more. Right. It's not just running. It's not just flipping tires. It's not just art. And I'm on a journey because I lost my gym. I lost one of the main things that was my identity. What does a lost boy do? I'm going to go find other teachers. Go find other friends. I'm going to go find who I vibe with. Nope. Fuck you. You're cool. I'm going to go hang out over here. Nope. I'm a Voyager like this man. So I'm learning. And like you, if I can learn and share, hey, that's how we get better. To me, that's how we get better as a community. That's how we prevent a lot of harm being done. If someone can hear your voice, this man's voice, if I can make someone laugh for me being stupid, and you can change, like to me, like
what is love? Baby, don't hurt me.
If we can find stupid way,
Yeah.
If that can make someone smile. If a conversation you have that's very touchy, that's very delves into the evils that humanity can bring about without even touching the subjects. Having a conversation like that can help someone in a weird way. What I learned via fitness and words, and why I'm really keen on words and how we words. in the fitness world, what I say or what you say or whatever gets said, that can impact somebody. That can be the spark that creates someone's own fitness journey. They might not even ever tell you. Or that might be the spark to never come back. You might, if you have a bad day, if I said something wrong or whatever the situation is. So for me, words. How can I present before we quick, fast, fish? Wait. What are we doing? What are we projecting? What's going out? To me, it's all right. Accountability a little bit to me. Again, the Jordan thing. Let's get it good. Let's do it good. And I was a little nervous when you first came.
Please do tell.
Speaking on mental health can be a Pandora's box. And to me, very sticky, very complex. And if it's not handled with care or it comes from a place of love, to me, someone can kind of get the wrong idea and they might get turned off. But from you did not do that. You came from a place of love, from the wounded healer. You're speaking from experience. The Robin Williams quote, this is a long ass quote where I'm funny because he's kind of like, he's felt the negative. So he can, whatever he can do, if he can, blah, 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 flubber. Yes, we got a flubber. Yeah, oh shit, I fucked it up. One of his long quotes, the reason why he was like so funny or a comedian was because he felt the world's wrong. So whatever he can do to make someone laugh, he's going to do it. Like, wow, there's something to that. So I think you're doing that, and we're kind of doing that. The South by Southeast podcast in their own, they're the Wu-Tang. They kind of stimulated all the creativity. Poof. Oh shit. Now we have individuals, creativities, and we're kind of doing the same message. That's what, to me, is the main focus is. I'm not worried about numbers. I'm not trying to get paid. I mean, it'd be nice, but that's not the main objective. Help.
Yep.
Me, I love fitness. If I can help all day, but there's so much more. If I can help someone mentally, physically, if you can steer them in the right direction, if you can prevent them from taking the last step, the last taboo, what we see in our neighborhoods, if we can, even one, if we can, that's amazing. That's amazing. That's amazing, amazing, amazing. And again, it's like, what happens when all the creativity comes together? I don't know, but I think we're seeing it. You came at a good time because before it wasn't like this. There was a lot of negatives. It was a lot of battle. It was a lot of negative battles. But for some reason, that's shifting, and I'm glad.
Right.
Very glad.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like I said, I feel that what you guys are doing is really good, and what South by Southeast has created here is really good, and just be able to be a part of it makes me feel really good. Because talking to you guys both saying that, like, you took journaling from me, and you hear me, you take what I say, and you're like, that's the point.
Right.
I'm glad you have a disclaimer too.
Oh yeah, that's important.
I'm glad.
See, I took this really serious.
That's kudos to you, because it's sorry to interject, but you're dealing with the mind. You're dealing with the mind, and even the most smartest, most well-educated doctors still have issues dealing with the mind, And to me, it was, please handle this with care, but you did.
Yeah.
The disclaimer, and then you're very kind. You let people speak. You don't. It's not where it's just about you. You're having a conversation and you're learning. And when you're learning, other people are learning too.
Yep.
So I really like the direction and everything.
Yeah, and bringing that data, like, that takes time to, like, look up, and I make sure, is this credible? Is this coming from a source that, I can come on here? Or is it some person did some person just write this and come from their own mind? Like, is this credible data that I'm presenting? Right. Prior to the podcast, I got my bachelor's in psychology.
Ooh, congratulations.
And thank you.
Nice.
And I have had that since 2017.
Nice.
So I've had it for a few years. And psychology was one thing I studied because I'm interested in why do we do the things why do individuals, not society, but why do individuals do the things they do? And so having that as my background, I said, okay, I think I can definitely do this. So I looked up, like, what do I need? Like, to have a good podcast? I don't want to be like, who's this girl coming on? Like, who are you?
Yeah.
Right.
Just some girl off the street who said, oh, I just want to talk about mental health. I got mommy issues and I just want to talk about it. It's like, no, I want to make sure that I do this and I do it properly. So having that disclaimer was like, right off the bat, something I have to have a disclaimer. There needs to be, because I can say something and someone can take that and
exactly.
And I was like, no, I don't want that on me. Yeah. I don't want that. And even just having the podcast inspired me to go back to school for my master's.
Oh wow,
that's beautiful.
Like, I knew that at some point in my life I wanted to go back, but having it, I was like, now's the time. Now's the time to go back to school. Like, I'm not even just gonna get one master's, I get two. Having the master's in school counseling and mental health counseling. Having both of those it's important. Not, for my career, but for the podcast too, because now I'm learning even more.
What's the overall goal?
For my life, for the podcast,
you're racking up all the certificates, all the degrees. What's for what?
For myself. For other people, to help, to really do something. Because I don't want to see a little girl go through the things I've gone through. And if there's somebody to say, hey, like, it's okay, I'm here for you, right? So if I have somebody sitting in front of me and I feel like, oh my God, that was me, I know how to separate that. Right? Mm-hmm. So if I'm just somebody talking to you off the street and now I see this little girl and I'm like, oh my God, come here. Like, no, but now being a counselor, I would know how to handle that properly. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So not just saying like, oh, well, here I am, just some random person off the street. I want to help you. Yeah. No, here's my credentials. This is what I have. This is what I learned in school. And I'm able to separate, because I can be very empathetic to the point where sometimes it's like I over empathize. And then before I start to carry other people's stuff.
Hit the button. You know we're going to go there. Buckle up, people. We're about to go down a rabbit hole.
So before, when I was going to school for my BA in psychology, I just would listen to people and just carry. Like, your pain is my pain. Like, if I'm doing something, heroic, and I was drained to the core. Like, I can't take another person's problem. Like, I just can't do it. Like, it really would sink me down, because there are a lot of times I do feel what other people feel. That's hard.
Have you ever heard of the word empath?
Yes.
What is your definition or description, or what have you learned so far? You have a white lab coat.
So being empathetic is putting yourself in someone else's shoes. So sympathetic is, oh, I feel sorry for you, but I'm not reaching my hand out. I hear what you're saying, and that's really sad. I'm sorry. That's sympathetic. Being empathetic is really being able to step into that person and say, wow, I really feel what you feel. Like, and I'm here for you. I'm not going to fix your problem.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to take it away from you, but I'm going to help you through it. So that's what being empathetic is to me, like someone who can really but see, I'll cement myself in your shoes before, not now. Before, when I really wanted to be helpful, I thought, to me, that was me being helpful. I'm taking your place. You run away from your pain and I'll just take it all. And I learned because I know how it feels. I know how it feels to not have anybody to take that pain and to really internalize that and make it your voice, that inner voice. I had horrible self-talk, horrible. Like sometimes I'm just like, man, shut the fuck up already, like voice inside my head, because it got really bad.
That's why, like I spoke about, like with me with parenting, is that inner voice in me. Like, that's why I also talk publicly about my situations in life, because a lot of people see me in a positive way and like, oh, this guy's fucking always happy or something like that. So I always take a time to pause and be like, no, I'm going through some shit today, this or that. Or with the podcast, I'm able to open about what's really in my mind as far as my own personal situations, because that's what, and like I said, if it just takes one person, or just that person that always sends a message like, dude, I understand what you were talking about here, or I understand what he said here, or man, I think like that too. Just the fact that somebody's taking their time and reflecting on something we said and making them change to the point where they're gonna message me and talk about it, because that's already hard to message somebody and open up about things like that. Yep. And to have that one person, just like, that's the most satisfaction that I have with everything that we're doing. Opening that door where you can communicate. Communication is, again, another way of therapy and stuff. And so I love individually what we are all doing.
Yeah.
If you walk into like a crowded room, does it overwhelm you? Like big crowds?
Yeah, but for other reasons. Not like I can feel everybody's energy, not like that, but it's just because I start to feel like, are people looking at me? What do they think about me? Like,
oh, you gotta tell that voice to shut the fuck
up. And that voice will talk sometimes, and I'm just like, try to ignore it. It's that nervous, that introverted me, right? So I get into a room and it's like, I want to say like, hey, how are you guys? Hey, like, what's going on? But it's just like, it's like, what is wrong with her? And I'm like, internally, it's like, I want to be that person, but there's just something that's just like, no, you're fine. Just shut up. Just sit here. You don't have to talk. You don't have to say it. It's just this part of me. But now, like I said, the people who are really close to me and really know me, they're like, oh my God, this girl is crazy sometimes. It's just like, it's just, I've been like this my whole life. And it's kind of, now I'm going to one of those, this is just how I am.
I'm glad you caught that.
Right.
But I definitely am changing now. When I walk into a room, it's like, even if I don't verbally say hi, give that hand wave. Let them know that you see them, you're not being rude. Because a lot of times people would say like, oh, I thought you were just mean, or I thought that you're so rude. Like, that's not my intention at all. Because then when they get to know me, it's like, oh my God, you're so nice. It's like, I am, I'm just shy sometimes. So
I can, similar to that, this public crowds, just, I'm always aware, just watching, just because from just growing up, anything can happen sometimes. It's like a defense mechanism. It's kind of trained, and if you didn't have that, like nature in the wild, if you don't have those certain senses are heightened, you're gonna be the prey sometimes. So I can relate to that, where in certain situations, what other people are seeing is completely not what's going on in the head, or it's different, way different. I think for I want to touch on this energy thing, but I got to find how to word this. I want to word this correctly. Can you see energy? I'm going to take a wild step.
Me, myself?
Like, have you ever? No, nothing.
No, nothing like that. Like, I definitely feel like, but then see, I can't even say that, because I think that's my own inner self, right? So like, if I came up to you and I'm like, hey, how are you? And you just like kind of looked at me like, why are you talking? I internalize that, like, oh my God, this person hates me. Like, oh my God, like, I'm just going to get away from okay, have a good day. Like, I definitely like feel like, so, that's really hard in relationship. when I feel like my husband is upset, I automatically think it's me. What did I do? Why are you mad?
Right.
And he's just having a bad day. It may not even be me, but I go in my head, oh my God, what did I do? Did I say something wrong?
Right.
Like, I always think that I could have done nothing at all. He's just having a bad day. I just pick up, when people act different towards me, I'm like, what did I do? Right away, my mind instantly goes to, I did something wrong.
Yeah.
And I'm still working on that.
And
Well,
then
wait, time out. I want to interject real quick because that's, to me, let me see if I can word this. To me, it sounds like half of intuitive and then half of that voice, that negative voice telling
Anxiety.
I don't want to say anxiety.
Yeah.
No, I think, you said your heart, but it's that voice. It's a, I want to say that's like your dark soul. I'm gonna send you that video about the Carl Jung. How you go to psychology? Carl Jung.
I'm sure if I looked at a picture, I'm like, oh, I'm not good with names.
All right, yeah, probably true. But I find, no, I don't know how to say this, but go deeper with that voice. Fight with that voice, but in a positive way. Like, kind of like, no. What if no one's thinking that? Then it's that voice telling you, or an evil spirit telling you, man, that motherfucker's making fun of you. No, what if it's not? That can change the whole outcome. What's people are seeing is not what's going on. And if you, to me, I don't know how to word this, but if you battle that, you go shield. I think you can win that battle where it's not hindering you. Because to me, I don't know if it sounds like hindering. It's hindering. It's preventing you from being yourself, almost.
Yeah, I would say in some situations,
Man, you better
yes.
fuck that shit up.
But in other situations, it does protect me.
Okay, how so?
Because then if I end the interaction, then I don't. What if I am actually annoying the person, right? So for instance, what if I come up to you and you really don't want to be bothered, and here I am, like, oh, okay, well, no, maybe, and then it is me.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? So for me, it's just like it's a way that I protect myself. Because what if I did something and I didn't know I did it to you, right?
Wow, now we're in the unknowns.
Yeah,
And, no, but I don't like being in the unknowns because you can get lost there.
Back to the wounded healer. That's something that's the Robin Williams thing to me, because I'm the same way. I'm always trying to, because I know how people go through shit, and I always try to bring a positive moment, even if I'm not in a good place. If I'm surrounded by people, I'm trying to bring the positive moment into it.
A little devil whispering. It just popped in my head. That's what it kind of reminds me of. Like a little devil on your shoulder, like, that motherfucker don't like you. You better flick. I'm sorry to cut you off, but it just popped in my head right now.
Yeah.
Like a little devil. That's what I was trying to get to. That's what that reminds me of. That thing. Yes, it is like a intuition, but it might not be that, it might not, that's what the don't guess, don't, what's the word, go ahead, I'll get back to you. Sorry.
When you walk into a room and you're positive energy and somebody in the other side of the room just looks at it and it's in a negative way,
don't let them
and you could tell.
No,
and you could tell right away, and you could feel it, and you could be like, oh, this motherfucker's like looking at me, we're like, man, who the fuck this guy think he is being so happy? And it's just you battle that darker energy that's in the same room. But it goes back to that same, like, the little devil in your...
Yeah. And that's why I'm in therapy.
Well,
to get that little devil off of my shoulder.
That's why all of us are kind of, in our own ways, kind of finding how to deal with life and shit,
Right.
How do we all find a way to get the fuck out of here, Whether that voice, again, is negative, or it can be a little nagging voice, or it could be really talking shit to you, or it could be, yo, go do heroin, yo, it can, whatever it is, it's wild. On my path, a lot of people that have been hurt or whatever, they have, for whatever reason, again, their frequencies are kind of tuned differently. They're more open, they're more empathetic. To me, if someone's more, if you have empathy, you without words, you can kind of feel. I'm sorry, that's the best way I can describe it. You can kind of get an idea of what someone's going through with no words. And I notice some people don't have that. Not everyone has that. To me, that's a transference of energy. To pick up, that's a Jedi-like ability. So again, what you're doing, I think you're on your own Jedi path. The reason why I'm telling you these things, increase your Jedi abilities. For real, keep doing it. When you walk into a room, don't let that voice prevent you from smiling or give you negative self-talk. Don't shut that fucking thing up, or change it, or learn how to reword it or something. That's my Jedi to Jedi. That will help you tremendously. Yeah. Tremendously.
And another thing I notice I do, body language, because 90% of how we communicate isn't really words, it's body language.
It's body language, yeah.
So one time, I'll say this and I don't think he'll get mad. My husband and I were having a disagreement, and he said, "You think you're some damn body language expert?" And that really hurt me. That really hurt me.
It's an educational thing too, because me and my girl do the same thing. She'll break something down, like in education wise, and like, this is because of this is because of that.
But he said, because I really look at someone, and that's another thing too. It's not so much energy. I look at what's your facial expression. So for instance, if I'm talking to Freddie and he were to just go, if I say something, I automatically think, oh my God, I said something wrong. Because his face just completely changed. He was smiling, but now he looks pissed off. I said something wrong. Yeah. What did I say? And that's where I start to trickle down and go down this.
And what I'm telling you, in reality, he just farted. That's it. You get what I'm saying?
I get you.
I get you. You spiraled, and what really happened in real life, he just had to pass gas. That's why you made that face.
But see, that stems from something, right?
Yes,
so
yes.
When I was younger and I would speak to my mom, I would always look, are her arms crossed? Is she pissed off right now? How is she standing? Like, where are her hands? Am I about to get smacked?
Your self-defense mechanism.
Right.
Yeah.
So I look at body language a lot, and my husband will drive me crazy because when we're talking, and this is just him, he folds his arms a lot. I always get defensive when he does that to me, because he folds his arms a lot. He'll sit here and he'll talk to you and he'll be like this. But for me, that sends a signal like, oh, you're feeling some type of way. And then I notice I start to get, okay, now I'm starting to get pissed off because you're crossing your arms. Yeah. And when you cross your arms, that normally means like something's wrong. So I look at body language a lot when I talk to people, and just how they're standing, how their face. So if you don't fuck around with me and be like, because I will be like, what happened?
No, you just now I'm gonna mess with you on purpose. No, every time I see you, no, see,
get that little just out of you.
Just so, like he says, coaching help. Now I'm gonna do that every time. Yes, every time I see you, I'm gonna throw a face, and I'm gonna see. I'm gonna throw you off so much. Yep.
It's like something that me and my girl got into yesterday was that I was going that way, and I was bringing my presents so I could wrap them over there. So in my mind, I was telling her, hey, I'm on my way. I got the presents. And I'm bringing the presents. I need help, something like that. And then I got there, and she saw it differently. She thought that I meant like, oh, I need help wrapping them. So she didn't think that she had to come downstairs to help me carry my presents to her place. So when I got there, I was already like, fuck, and fucking like annoyed. You know, going back to that annoyed phase, like everything. So then she came down. She read my body language, and her body language changed like that too. She's like, and I read it. So now I'm kind of like furious. She's furious because we're both like in a negative situation.
And no words have been exchanged yet.
No words.
It's all body language.
And we're excited to see each other because we haven't seen each other in a few days. So that changed just with that misunderstanding. So when we got up, I was like right away, I'm like, what's wrong? So then she spoke her mind. It's like, oh, we had a miscommunication. It's like, no. Misinformation for me is that it's a fact. like, you got a meeting at 9:30, but you told me 9. That's a fact. That's a miscommunication. Misunderstanding is because in my world, my text was the truth. In your world, how you understand my text was your truth. Mm-hmm. So there's no really wrong way. You understood it differently, and I said it differently. Mm-hmm. So we misunderstood each other. So nobody's wrong. There's no fact here. It's like we just understand different ways of what I said. And then but it turned bad. And it was just like, it's like, no, you're trying to make it look like it's my fault. It's always my, like, no. And I'm like, no, you're always wanting my fault. No. But then we smoked and we talked about it. And I told her, like, no. And this is another thing, learning about each other too, because I told her she's the kind of person that she's educational facts. So right away she wants to break it down and make it something like back and forth about the situation. But I'm like, no, there's times where you don't have to do that. Me, I'm a chill guy. I came up, we were frustrated, we smoked. I gave her a kiss, I told her, you look good. And I'm like, I told her right away, she wanted to get into it. I'm like, no, stop. Cool, I understand what happened. It's cool. Don't say nothing more. But her being educated and all that, and being the person she is, she wants to be like, no, well, you misunderstood me. No, you misinformed me and this and that. So that's when they went crazy. Mm-hmm. But it goes back to being like, who is like a person. Like sometimes I gotta accept that she's like that, and sometimes I gotta let her talk. And sometimes she understands me that sometimes I'm like, no, don't chill. I understand. Let's stop it here. So that was another bump in the head. But it just goes back to relationships and the misinformation thing.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I've been with my husband 16 years, married 13 years, and I think this year's probably been one of the hardest because our love languages. So mine is quantity, or the quality of time, and words of affirmation. I haven't been around, and I'm starting to think his love language might be quality time as well, because we just have been apart so much that we just are like, passing each other like, hey, how are you? Okay, I'm going to bed. Okay, I'm going to bed. Like, and it's just been weird. And relationships are just really hard. And communication is so important. Right. We've had so many disagreements over the dumbest shit that before we probably could have talked out, but we just can't communicate as well as we could before. That's because I read his body language and I interpret it and I get really defensive. And so it's just been it's been interesting. But I think now that I'm learning more in school and things, looking at, oh wow, we've had some really unhealthy patterns here of communication for a while. And it's just like no one's kind of we're so used to it that it's like now that it's recognized, it's like wait, what? I usually will engage. So if he says something, I'm like, okay, round one, let's go. Like, I'm ready I will debate the shit out of this. Yeah. But now I'm just like, okay, if that's what you think and how you feel, all right. And one day it was kind of like, wait, no, come back. Like, we need to. And I'm like, wait a second, what are you? Yeah. Like, I felt it from him that he wanted, because that's what he's used to. Like, we're going to draw this out for hours and talk about it until we come up with a resolution.
I'm like that too.
And he felt me pull away. And I don't think he liked that. Mm-hmm. And I actually recently had a talk with my therapist about it. She said he's not very communicative. Like, his communication skills are just, it's not that they're not there. It's just harder for him to communicate what he thinks or feels.
Well, it goes back to the episode you did with him. Mm-hmm. You listen to it, you understand it. Mm-hmm. But it goes back to Buzz too. Buzz is the same way. Mm-hmm. And it's that going back to that system of how they grew up and getting out of that system.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to tell you something.
Tell me.
How Buzz is, I think you, and I all have our own ways where we're like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Where it's like, we're right. I'll get to it one. But we all know there's some work that needs to be done.
Oh, right. Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. Like, I'm a work in progress all the time. And I look at myself and I'm like, no, there's something I can make different. And make, because seeing my parents, the way in their marriage they communicated, I'm like, oh, I'm doing that.
Yeah.
I'm doing that.
Yeah.
So my mom, when she would get upset with my dad, they were in separate rooms for the longest time. They wouldn't talk, wouldn't hug. And I noticed I was leaving for work and I was just like, okay, bye. Love you, Sergio. Bye. And it was like, I didn't even say bye to my husband. I didn't acknowledge my husband and tell him bye. I didn't. And I'm like,
that shit hurts.
Yeah. That was bad. That was bad. And I noticed it was happening for days and days where it was just like, we're used to texting during the day, like, hey, how's your day going at work? I'd look at my phone and I'm like, I'm busy right now.
And the self-awareness too. It's just like with me and my relationship, like that what just happened yesterday, because we're in a point where we're like take a pause, and angelic let us help too, but we had our moment where we paused it and then really talked depth about it, and then I opened myself about the understanding and talked to her, and she was understanding too. She's like, oh, I get where you coming from, like. So it's just about realizing that moment. It's just like when I told you, when I start getting annoyed by her or something, I tell her right there, like, pause, like, I'm feeling really annoyed right now. I need to, like, calm down. I need to chill, like. But it's self-awareness and letting her know instead of letting that shit just run and run. It keeps making it worse and worse, which how it's been in the past. And the things like just learning. Educating myself in the moment, like you do, self-awareness and all that.
Yeah.
But it's your old ways, your childhood ways, just stick to you, and like it's like going back to the phrase that you were saying. You can't teach an old dog new tricks, but you can. But it just takes time, and it takes awareness, and it takes awareness in the moment instead of being aware in your head and just letting it continue. Being like, pause. No, this is what's going on in my head. Expressing yourself and all that, you know. And it's very important for relationships of any kind, you know.
I agree. And like I said, I think we're still, as long as we've been together, I'm changing. And this is what I think. And like I said, I talked to my therapist about it. When somebody's changing so much and growing, and the other person is my husband's a little bit older. I'm 34, about to be 35. He is 41. So he's a little bit older.
Yeah.
So I think where he is in his life, he's content. We have our child, we have our house, everything's fine. But here I am, I gotta do more. I want to go on Disney vacations and stay for 2 weeks. Like, right. I want to go fly to Hawaii and do this. So that means I have to work harder. Like, I have to work harder to have more income. Where he's just like, where are you going? Like, come back. You're not you anymore. You're somebody else. He's used to me, like, us going somewhere. He's not used to me going out, like, to a party. We went to buses before, and we were both really quiet, where now if we probably go somewhere, I'm like,
yeah.
Let me go talk to this person. And he's kind of just like, where is she going? So I think that he sees that I'm growing, and there's a fear there. There's definitely, like, if we're being real, there's a fear there. Like, where's my wife?
Right.
Where's Sarah? You know? And like I said, he's really content, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it's like, I want to take you with me. Come with me. You know? Does that make sense?
Or even just understanding that that's who you are, and not take it that way, because it's with me, it gets hard when I start getting really creative, or like start doing pop-ups or events and stuff like that. My mind focuses on that, and I start doing that, and it ruins my relationship, because that means I'm not spending time over there, or I'm worrying too much about the event that I'm doing orders and stuff like that, and it takes time away from my relationship and shit. And then also it's like damn, man, what the fuck?
I forgot what I was saying.
But yeah, man, I can't believe it just went away. But it goes back to like being busy and all that. Like it fucks with the people's head, because there's some kind of fear there that, like, oh, I'm losing them or whatever. That's why, like, even I don't want that thought to be in the head, because that's why I tell my girl, like, when I do events, like, you could come, cool, support, but I don't want you to be there and with me in the table, because it takes away from the moment. And it also takes away from me being in the moment, because I'm afraid that I'm spending too much time to the people in front of me and not enough to you. Instead of if she's not there, I don't have to worry about always being around her, making sure she's cool, making she feel that she doesn't feel left out. Like, I'd rather be by myself, so I don't have to think about that. That I'm putting too much time in different people, and I'm not spending enough time with you. And she's understanding of it. But so it just is something that you probably have to talk about with him more, and like be in the moment and be like, hey, you know what? I'm realizing that I'm being more busy. I'm realizing that I'm being more talkative with people. I just want you to understand that I understand that. And if you have anything else to say about it, like, say it, but understand that I'm also this person. And like, either, I mean, it's not like they have to come join me, be like me, but just respect who I am, or come join me if you want to.
Yeah.
Not more like you better come with me.
Yeah.
Like, be like,
and it's not like that at all.
Yeah.
But I want him to feel included. You know, I want him to feel like I'm not trying to leave you behind, because that's the point I think I'm trying to make. I don't ever want him to feel like I'm trying to leave him behind. You know, I want him to be happy, and I want to be happy too. And I don't ever want him to feel like I'm going to outgrow you, because I think that might be a fear that he has. Oh, you're going to outgrow me.
Right.
And it's like, no, I've loved you for the longest.
Yeah.
And, you know, like, I don't know.
No.
But it's like something needs to change. I just
Right.
want a better quality of life for my child.
Yeah.
You know, so, and that worries me too when I feel like we're not on good terms. I don't want my child to see that and be like, oh, you know, because the view I have of my parents, like what marriage is, it's
Right.
like, you know, I told I will never be in a marriage where I don't give my husband a hug and kiss, because I never saw my parents. I saw my parents hug and kiss one time, and I was already like 10. And I was just like, ew, gross.
Right.
Because I was like, I've never seen them do this before.
Right.
Whereas, like, you know, my husband is very hugging. And sometimes I'm like, I don't want to be touched right now. Like, because I don't like that pressure. And then I see my son there and I'm like, okay, come back, give me a hug. Like, 'cause I don't want him to take that and be like, you know.
Because maybe later on, you could take something like that and be like, get away from me.
Yeah. So, and my husband is an amazing dad. And
Yeah.
sometimes I think too, you know, when you get kind of lost in that role as a parent, you kind of forget, like, hey, I was a spouse before too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I value my husband very much, but I feel like he's getting lost in that parent role. You know, and that could just be his own personal stuff. I'm not going to get into his stuff,
Yeah.
but that could definitely be his
You
own.
guys went in. You guys ain't know.
But again, it goes back to us be real about our situations.
Mm-hmm.
That's what helps other people that are listening. To like be aware about it.
Yeah.
And be able to maybe even open up themselves, you know.
Mm-hmm. And it's like, I never want to portray like, oh, I'm in this perfect marriage. My husband and I are so
Right.
happy together. We have our stuff too. Like, it's not always like that, but it does happen. And
But it's
because I'm a
real.
normal person with
But
a
it's
normal
real.
life, and you know, but like I said, sometimes I feel like he gets lost in that parent role, and I have to kind of tell him, like, you're not just Sergio's dad. Like, we were a couple before Sergio came along.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to remember, like, it's important for us to do things together outside of the house. Because a lot of the times it's like, oh, let's just watch TV. Like, no, we have to do other stuff too, you know? So that's my point of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very hard, especially with kids, and very hard with me too, because with my girl, if she witnessed it, like, I'm very a certain way with my kids. This is how we do things, and she came in and she's trying to be better, especially for my daughter, because I'm a man. It's not the same from a woman's perspective. So sometimes she'll mention things, and like sometimes it rubs me in the wrong way, or sometimes I'll intake it and I get very serious and I'm like processing it, or sometimes it's like I get offended because it goes back to like my mom telling me, you're not doing it right, you should do this, you should do this. So when she would mention something like take a situation a certain way, then I was just like, hey, what are you telling me I'm doing shit wrong, you know? So it goes back again, like getting in the parent role. So I could see it from his eyes too, like sometimes, like, I don't know how it became from a good parents, like, and then sometimes, like, if you do it in a positive way, you're like, man, I love this. I love what I'm creating for my child. You could get like really stuck with it and forget about your relationship. Going back to when she's telling me things, and I'm like, I'm very like, no, I'm a parent. It's like, no, you're trying to help me parent my child. Let me accept that too.
Yeah, relationships and children, marriage, all those things are just hard, and they're just one part of life to navigate through. You know, and figuring out that, because my husband struggles with depression, and it's sometimes I look and it's like, I want to help you, but I can't help you if you don't want to help yourself. And then I get like frustrated with that, but I try to be as supportive as possible because, you know, I love him. That's what you do as a partner.
That's beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah. Even though sometimes but I do. I genuinely, he's a very good person, and you know, sometimes he gets in the way of himself, but I'm here to help him always. Always.
Before we wrap it up, my second part of the question that I asked earlier. Do you think other people's emotions, can you pick up on other people's emotions? Not just feelings, like emotions. Like if I'm sad, like say me and Freddie were sad, you walked in without even saying anything, would you kind of feel sad yourself?
Yes.
So you do absorb. Oh, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I definitely feel it, but I try to leave it there. Like, okay, I'll be sad with you guys for a little bit. But, all right, it's time for me to move on past this.
You're reading my journal. There's certain people that are highly sensitive individuals. Jedi, different forms. You might be one of those people. And to me, again, what pops in my head, protect yourself. Don't let, since you're highly sensitive, don't let me or Freddie, something external, throw you off, because you're letting someone else like extinguish the light. You're, like you said, you're on the path, you're positive, you have those abilities. Use them for the positive, use them for the good. Don't let, again, hopefully I'm saying this correctly, if someone's sensitive or quick to analyze and everything, that's an ability. Don't let the external or the absorption, you know, you can absorb, and that can throw you off, and that'll throw off you, and that can throw off your thought process. Again, not just you, I'm using me, you, everyone in general. I'll put a mirror right here, so don't feel like I'm just talking to you. It's not directly towards, it's, again.
I get you, because I do the same thing when I'm
self-reflecting,
you.
but you get what I'm saying. This is how,
you.
to me, this is how I get better. I'll put myself in a situation. Like I said it kind of before, I want to learn. This is, again, my journal. I want to learn how to be like a Ronin, where regardless of the stimulation, regardless of the triggers, I can be cool, calm, and collected in any situation, because then I have all my faculties. And then I can respond in a way where my true, genuine intention is actually, like you said, there's the conversation between you, is there a way where you can portray that message exactly to the point where maybe not words, or maybe words, maybe something, is there a way to immediately, you know, without the extra or the, I don't know, I'm hopefully wording this correctly.
I get what you mean. I get what you mean.
It goes back to the buzz thing. We know we need to do it. And if we find things we know we need to work on, again, to me, like, you know me, if there's something I want to work on, I want to get better. And there's something, don't use anything as an excuse not to get better. If you find something that, I need to get better at this. This is me talking to me. Get better. This is my journal. If I ever hear myself and, when you're in the bed, get better. Learn how to, where those triggers or anything don't throw you off your jive. Don't throw off your mood. Don't throw off your if you're happy naturally, you stay that way. And then if you're sad, you ride your emotions. You got to learn how to ride that. But I'm learning, I don't let the external affect you, because it can, it will, and then before long, you can lose yourself. You can't appear as a different person or something, because for so long. Wait a minute, no, get back to center. Do you meditate?
I do.
Ooh, what do you do?
I usually will pull up a YouTube video, 5-10 minute meditation after I work out.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
So I started a program with a former guest, Patrick Wilson. And so I
yes.
lift 3 days a week now. I wake up at 4:30 in the morning
Really?
Wow.
to lift.
No shit.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Kudos
Wake
to
up
you.
3 days. I compromised with myself because I was
See?
waking up 5 days, but I said, you
You
know what?
already have it in you. You told that voice, shut the fuck up, and you're getting up. Yo, for real, that's dope. That's so
So I
dope
wake
of you.
up 3 days a week, leg day, arm day, full body.
Yes. Now you're talking my language.
And then immediately after, I'll meditate. And sometimes I have to get ready for work, so I will literally straighten my hair and sit on the bathroom floor and meditate. But I'm like, I gotta get ready, but I could still do this. Now in my new position at work, I'm not so busy, so I said, for my team, we are meditating every morning. For my team, because you need it. Like in the work that we do, the helping field, you need it. So that is something we will be doing every morning, is
Wow.
a 5 to 10 minute meditation just to clear your mind.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, so
What do you think that does to the mind?
a lot. It gives you
what?
clarity. It gives
Put on
you
the white lab coat. You spoke to a lot
Those
of people. You are very
neurotransmitters
smart.
in your brain.
Yes, thank you. You've
Those-
done your research.
They alter the neurotransmitters in your brain. They create those good chemicals that you need, that serotonin, that dopamine, all those good chemicals that your brain needs to get you balanced. Because you could think, see, a lot of people misconception. I have bipolar disorder. I can, and there's nothing wrong with marijuana. I'm just saying, but I can smoke
I still have my
marijuana.
footnote here.
I could smoke marijuana and I'll be fine. Okay, I've seen my sister do this. Legit. Smoke all day, and she swears marijuana is a depressant. And again, I'm not saying anything bad about marijuana, but it's a depressant. So if you're already depressed, bipolar people, she has a bipolar major depression. But if you're smoking marijuana all day, that's not going to help your bipolar. It's not.
Yeah.
It's a depressant. Just like if she were to drink alcohol all day, that's not going to help your bipolar.
I beg to disagree. So we can go back and forth. Alcohol is different.
Well, yeah, alcohol
I think
definitely is different.
In the
but
same situation, in the same context, I can use that marijuana use to the steroid use. I think there's something deeper there. I think there's something deeper, and that outlet instead of steroids might be marijuana. So in that context, yes, that situation's bad. In general, is marijuana for everyone. Cannabis, if you want to be nice and all boutique about it now. No, it's not for everyone. But for my honest, legit scientific notes, I kid you not, it is an amazing outlet if used in the right context.
I agree.
And not only for mental, but now I'm learning physical. With physically training, running, recovery. Wait a minute. This is wild. Because I feel like a young boy learning right now, because this is going on right now. Whoa. What was told to us was a depressant. Can be, yes, you're not wrong. In that situation, it's probably detrimental. No, you probably don't need to smoke. But does that do that for everyone? No, that's the scare tactic. Oh, that's the no. I think we're learning now. It opens up different doors.
Yeah.
I think, but I do agree with you. It can be used, can be abused.
Does she
Absolutely.
use medical stuff too, like pills and stuff?
So that's what I wanted to kind of lead up to, though. So she used to take medicine for her bipolar, but it flattened her. So so with bipolar, you get that kind of euphoric state. And a lot of people in that euphoric state can be more productive. They're more creative. They're more, like I said, productive. Like she would clean her whole entire house when she was in euphoria. Like she would stay up and watch TV for hours. I mean, like just up and doing things, and she was alive. But then once that depressive state hit, so she got on medication, but again, it flattened her. So she didn't get that euphoria anymore. So she said, I don't want to take medication. I'm just going to smoke marijuana.
So did you prefer her taking more powerful or different pills or doing the marijuana? That's why it's like...
I honestly, the only reason I have a problem with her use with marijuana is because of the way she uses. It's excessive all day from the time her eyes open to the time her eyes close. That's my only problem. And in her case, I really feel like she needs the medication. But like I said, it flattens her out. So she doesn't, because with bipolar disorder, there's a chemical balance in the brain. And you really do need medication to balance it. And it's not me just saying that. It's actual research done. Like with major depression disorder, you need medication to balance out, and therapy. You can't just go to therapy. I mean, you can just go to therapy, but the medication will be more helpful. Because I took medication for my anxiety and it made it worse. So I said, I'm not taking this. I'd rather just figure out a way to deal with it, you know? So I am against, no, let me not say I'm against.
I like what you did there.
Not
My
say
sword
against.
went swing, swing, swing.
I would prefer not to take medicine, but
Disagree upon the day.
but it's good for people, you know, because like I said, there is a chemical imbalance in the brain and you need the medication to balance it out. But I'm not against people smoking marijuana at all. I mean, what if not every treatment is a one size fits all.
Exactly.
And if it works for you and it's not destructive in any way to your life, go for it. Yeah. But when I look at my sister, it just makes me sad because there's so much potential in her. But she was so desperate before she smoked that synthetic marijuana you buy at the gas station. That's how I knew it was not, she's not in a good place. So that's why I am just like, I wish she would just get on the medication. And, you know, I'm estranged from my sister. I miss her and I love her very much, but our lives are just too different, you know? And I look and I'm like, how did we grow up in the same house? Like, we're two completely different people.
Well, perfect segue. What is your white lab coat moment? What is your current hypothesis on the state of trauma and the effects on the brain? What have you learned? What have you dealt with? Not just, you don't have to go, so you don't have to speak on self. Speak about what you learned with everyone you communicated. What is your hypothesis?
Well, for me, I just think it's how we process things as individuals. Like, it's our level of resiliency. So we could have grown up in the same house. I'm just going to use us as an example. Yeah. We could have grown up in the same house, same type of parenting, you know, but you could have felt like our parents were meaner to you than they were to me. You could have thought I was valued because I'm the youngest. And then so you internalize these things and you have a mental health disorder such as bipolar, right? And you aren't able to kind of get back up. Whereas I'm just like, I see these things and this is not how I want to be.
Yeah.
So my level of resiliency, although I have something going on with me, my level of resiliency, I could say, you know what, this isn't what I want. It's the way I think. You know, it's the way that I perceive things. This isn't what I want, so I'm going to do things a different way. Versus someone who experiences the same kinds of trauma could say, you know what, I'm just going to kind of, this is just how things are for me. So I'm just going to roll with the punches. And I mean, like I said, level of resiliency plays a lot into it. You know, you can grow up in the same house as someone, experience similar traumas, but it's just how you process it, how you deal with it.
And I think if we'll go back to that, like if two siblings in the same household, what we experienced. I can have one perception, and you can have one. And also how my brain works is, well, we know generational trauma gets passed down. So maybe I got more from column A. Maybe that's why I processed it and I went this way. You got more from column B, which whatever that trait would be, fill in the blank. And that's why your defense mechanism or your trauma response would be XYZ. So it might be night and day for us, but we're bonded by that trauma that affects the brain. And then I think we're learning as well that it changes the CPU. It changes your how you process information. This is, again, reading my journal. Trauma that affects how information kind of can come in, can come out, how we verbalize it, how we actually process it, the body language. It can be like I don't mean to call us, but like Pavlov and the dog, how you train the dog every time you ring the bell 3 times. You train it. Well, trauma trains us. That's why the body gets quick into. This is again my notes. Not just you, me, everyone. It changes and depending on the severity of the trauma, on the severity and the individual, and then there's so many variables: the DNA, the chemical makeup, how the environment, the inner resiliency of the individual. There's so much, and for me, it can change who you are. It can grab a hold of you. It can be that voice. It can be that fucking devil on the side, or it can be that crippling, I don't want to get out of bed.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to turn to drinking. I'm going to turn, it's very sticky. And that's why for me, when you discuss it, please handle it with care. It's tricky because if, again, journal, me and you are siblings, we can perceive what our parents told us 2 different ways, even though they said the same thing. Well, if they always treated me like this, well, maybe they were more harsh on me. I felt like they were harsh on me. They're easy on you, so I have resentment towards you. But I created that. I created it. You know what I mean? Or if you want to say, mother or father created it because it was kind of instilled in you. But if you really take a step back, I'm doing it, right? I would create hostility towards you or resentment towards you. Or you're the favorite. Why are they always nicer to you? How come their tone was different when they're talking to you than talking to me? Well, if I self-perceive that, I'm self-sabotaging myself in a sense, right?
Yep.
Again, my notes. And that's all I have for the notes so far. ... Okay.
That's kind of like, I had a conversation with my coworkers, and you know how there's the saying, like, you marry, like for girls, they marry what their father was. So you've heard that saying, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, yeah, I heard it before.
So we were talking, and they're like, well, I said, I don't think that's true. I think you marry the perception of what you thought your father was. So, and I'll use me as an example because that's all I can really use at this point. I married someone how I perceive my dad. Very funny, very much will coddle me when I need to be coddled. Like, if I want to quit, you'll just let me quit. You'll kind of just let me do my thing. Like, because my dad was very much like, whatever's going to make you happy, I will do. My husband is the same way. Whatever's going to make you happy, I'll do. Because I just want you to be happy. Whereas him and my sister, their relationship, he was a little bit harder on her because she's very hard-headed. And my dad was like, I'm not accepting this. But almost like fought for his attention. Like she felt like she was always fighting for his attention because I always had his attention. What kind of man do you think my sister married? Any guesses?
I don't want to infer.
She married what she perceived my father as. I have to fight for your attention. You're always working. I have to fight for your attention. And so it's like, well, how did she marry someone like that? But you married someone like, because that was the perception that I had of my father. And that's what I really believe. I really, truly experiencing that in my life and seeing, you know, my sister married someone like my dad. She perceived dad's always working. He never has time for us. He doesn't, and I didn't perceive my dad that way. My dad worked really hard to give us better than what he had. You know, so it definitely has a lot to do with perception. I thought that was important to bring up because, you know, I just did.
But it goes back to...
No, it's a perfect example.
Yeah.
But it goes back to her brain. Like, she's bipolar, so her interpretation was, because of how her brain was so different. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing about the brain. Like you said, the shoe doesn't fit all or something. What is it called?
One size fits all.
Yeah, it's not like that. Mm-hmm. And that's the difficult part about it. And this is like something that I love, that we're learning from different ways of people, how they deal with these things. And it's about learning what's best for you. Mm-hmm. So you put everything that we have together and you see like, maybe I should do this, maybe this will help, maybe this will help. And that's something that we love, that I love that we do, is always have these different forms of dealing with this, you know, and speaking about it, either through situations from that you learned or personal things that happen, or just, I love that we're talking about all of this.
Yeah, and I think why I talk about, you know, my mom and my sister, they're actually what kind of inspired me to get into the field, because I just want to understand people. Because I've always kind of wanted to understand, well, why did my mom treat me like this? You know, why couldn't my sister and I get along? What does bipolar do to someone? Because they would always tell me, you're bipolar. And I'm like,
To you?
oh, do I what?
They used to say that to you?
Yeah, they used to say that to me all the time. You're bipolar. You're just like us. Because both my mom and my sister.
Oh, they would tell you?
Yeah,
Oh,
they would tell me that. And I'm like, I sat and I cried in front of my therapist and I said, am I bipolar? She goes, wait a second, what makes you think this? And I'm like, well, my mom and my sister for the longest told me I'm bipolar, so I must be, right? And she's like, well, we went over like the signs and symptoms, and she's like, you're not bipolar.
Right.
Like, you know, she's like, you're not bipolar. I'm like, okay, that's good to know. And I think my mom and my sister are just so similar. They're just so similar that it like hurts. It really does hurt. And, you know, it just, like I said, and there's nothing wrong with bipolar. And sometimes I talk about it because I feel like bipolar can be missed a little bit. My sister went undiagnosed for a while because they were afraid to diagnose her at a young age. My mom was convinced she had ADHD. My mom didn't find out she had bipolar till later on in life, but I always knew something was going on with my mom's mental health. She would always yell and scream and be angry and emotional. And sometimes when I get like that, I fear that, oh my God, I'm being my mom. I'm being my mom. I don't want to do that.
What do you do in that moment?
I disconnect.
What do you mean disconnect?
I have to walk, like, so for instance, if my son is doing something and I start to get like...
You catch that?
Yeah.
So when
right
you
away.
catch that moment, what do you do?
Walk away. And I'll tell my husband, I gotta walk away. And he may get a little, there has been times where he's like, don't walk away. Why are you gonna walk?
Right,
I need to. I'm telling you now because I feel it and I don't want to do to my son what my mom did to me. Mm-hmm. And I never want to make him feel like that. That's what I worry about. It's not so much, I never want to make him feel, I never want to make him feel the way that I felt.
Yeah. Well, it takes a lot of power to do that. To break that curse of the generational happenings and learnings and seeings and repetitives. Like, yo, no, stop, nope, stop. In the height of everything, it takes a lot of guts, gall to, yo, nope, not doing the same. I found it.
Okay.
The Boy Who Was Raised as a Dog.
Mm-hmm. Book perfect.
That's a heavy one.
I've read
Are
that
you
book
familiar?
a while ago, but
I don't know if I told you this before. The book, The Boy Who Was Raised as a Dog by Bruce D. Berry. It's an amazing, wild story about, again, individuals and humans. But one of the cases in there, the young boy was raised in very poor, down south area, and grew up around dogs. He couldn't speak English. He would bark. So a little boy would bark, and he was raised. He thought he was a dog. But it goes to show that the if you're trained, if you're told you're this, you're that. In my field, people will become, well, I'm so busy, I'm so lazy, I'm this, I'm that, Don't do what other people did to you. Don't do to yourself. Mm-hmm. Don't put yourself down. You're doing what your mom or whoever, society, your boss, like, yo, you're stupid, you're slow, you're this, you're that, you're bipolar, you're this. Wait, time out. Time out. Another book, The Body Keeps Score. Mm-hmm. That one, amazing. Mm-hmm. Amazing. Did you read it? Mm-hmm. I love that one.
That's a good one.
That one amazes me because my whole life I liked fitness, and that was, for whatever reason, that was my path. But I'm on the journey of the mental, and that book clearly states there is a direct connection between mental and physical. If something traumatic happens to you, there's physical symptoms, there's physical illnesses, ailments, there's twitches, wrongs. Your back pain can be caused by so many things. It's the body and mind are connected in ways. Again, we as humans, journal note, we're still learning. We are still learning how our computer is connected to our vessel, our machine, and how something that happened with our grandmas can affect us now. What happened in generations ago can affect us in many different ways. Like, whoa, what the fuck is going on? This is a lot of information to process. Mm-hmm. This is a lot.
Yeah.
Wow.
It definitely is. And going on to that, have you ever went up to someone and just went like this? And what's their first reaction?
What do you mean? Like flip their head or something?
Yeah, so if I went like this to you,
Smacking
like
the
with,
yeah,
like if I was gonna smack you, your first
yeah.
reaction kind of, that's what, like,
yeah.
I have done it, and not on purpose.
Yeah.
But I went like this to my kid, and he didn't do anything, and I'm like,
yeah.
that's because you're not used to getting, you don't get hit.
Yeah.
Now I went like this to my husband. Then I'm like, who's hitting you? Who hit you when you were younger? Let's talk about this. Because your first reaction is to do that, because that's what, and I've done it before.
That's what
like,
we're used to.
So my husband and I were walking in the store today. He turned around to like show me something, and I like my whole body flinched, and I was like, and my husband's never, that was just my body's reaction, like protect. Yeah.
It's
Crazy.
So it is definitely
That's
interesting.
what actually made me change to be a better parent. My son did the same thing, and the eyes that he looked at me is the same fucking eyes that looked at my parents when I got my ass whooped, and I was like,
yeah. That's that moment right there. I know that sounds weird, but in fitness, that you hit that moment where no. I have to do this. I have to do this. I have to do this for me. I have to make a change. I have to do something. I love those moments because those are the never look back moments. That's how you create those healers. Like, no. I don't want other people to feel this. Mm-hmm. But what I'm learning, it's a constant battle. It's a constant battle, a constant balance. Whether it's forces or this or triggers, there's always whatever. There pulls in certain directions. There's always...
they're always there. They never leave.
Which is why we got to self-reflect, take these outlets and actually use them. Yeah. Again, with the buzz, with everything, we know, but no, from my perspective, in my years of fitness, there's so many people, they come to me, but they need to, it has to be in there, it has to be you have to put it in and do it. Mm-hmm. That's the end. There has to be the act. And what I'm learning, you don't have to be good at it. You don't have to know much. Just act. Just the mere act of doing whatever it is you need to do. Face your fear, gym, whatever. Do it. You can do it by yourself. You can have a group of support, but just go in that direction. Don't let anything bog you down. Anything. Because if you do, then to me, it's a loss of potential. It's always going to be what ifs. I almost did. Regrets, and with regrets, it's resentment and this, and it's his fault. It's my. If I had this and then, well, to me, what if? We're learning that David got. What if we can, with everything on our plate, with all the shit we had, what if we can still come on top and still make money, helping people, feed the family, do everything we love, and continue that cycle? It's possible without hurting people, without being cutthroat, without being negative. And no, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool, and I think we have an awesome group doing. We're all like weird and like fucking Captain Planet. What was the Earth? Fire. Yeah. We all. You have you did your research. To me, took a touchy Pandora's box, and I'm gonna do my due diligence. You did your Michael Jordan work. You did your research. I'm gonna handle this. I'm gonna open this box delicately, because you know that box. There's a lot of. It's a Hurt Locker. You ever see the movie Hurt Locker? Ooh, that's another one. Deep psychological. That box is a Hurt Locker, and everyone reacts differently when you adjust and jar and open it. Some people are highly reactive. Some people are highly sensitive. Some people are to the point where they don't feel nothing. Their senses are. And what we're learning, everyone's is individual. It's not cookie cutter. It's not one size fits all. We're on the journey of learning, and I love it. Where are we at in time? Nah, you got any more questions? That was pretty dope.
2 hour 48.
Ooh.
I think it's maybe like more 2 hours. 20.
If you got any more questions, feel free. You have me here. You have him. You have any questions for us? Don't worry about time.
Yeah.
We don't worry about time.
Let me see.
Anything you can think of. I like that the mojo's flowing. I'm learning a lot.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, if you could read the journal tonight. Woo! I got a lot of creative juices flowing.
I don't know. What do you guys want me to ask you?
No,
Give me some
no.
ideas. I can't think of anything. I think I'm maxed out with words. What more words can come out of my head?
Again, I think you're an awesome Jedi. You're helping a lot of people. But again, I'm going to use Miss Sarah, the download that's coming to me. Protect yourself.
Yeah.
Protect your energy. Protect everything.
We had a conversation, though, and we kind of talked about, like, how do you not take, you know? And I've learned.
Yeah.
I've had to learn
Yes.
to leave a conversation where it is. I want to be as supportive as possible to people.
Yeah.
But I've had to say, okay, I got to leave this here. This isn't for me to take with me. I'm not going to carry this. This has to stay right here. So, for instance, had a conversation with a friend, really heavy, really going through some stuff. You know, I gave hugs, gave support, and then I took a little box and put it in there and left it right there. And I didn't take it with me because I couldn't. It was heavy. And I said, I can't carry this. I can't. I have really learned, especially sitting across from other people, hearing stories and...
Wait, go back to that. You actually left like a physical box? What do you mean?
A mental box.
No, but you actually did it.
Yeah.
Like, no, that's brilliant.
Oh, yeah.
No, that's
like,
brilliant. I thought you physically left one, but even no, even mentally leaving. Like, no, that's brilliant because I'm not taking this with me. That's what I'm talking about. Don't let that shit.
Because as a therapist, you can't take it with you. And I will burn myself out so fast. Yeah. And that's how you create that transparency, co-transparency.
Yes.
You that's unethical, and you just can't do it.
Well, the reason why I question is because of not like out of respect for you and what you do. I don't want you to get burned out because if you're extra sensitive and you're talking more and more, you're going to absorb more and more. And if you absorb more and more, it's going to throw you over, you know. That's why the outlets and the counterbalance and the self-reflection. Oh, okay. All right. I liked it.
Yeah. So like I said, I've learned to have to leave it where it is. And
Brilliant.
Yeah. I just have to do that for myself. And it's not fair if I take that home to my husband, to my kid. to my friends, you know, like
Right.
it's just not fair.
I think that's brilliant. And I had a little trash can at the gym, and it said, "Leave your ego, your problems, all your issues here." And it was right in front, because when people come in, yes, shit happens. But I really believed, don't come in here in a spot of healing with all your shit and spread all your shit, because you're throwing off my feng shui. You know, neutral. When you come in here, let's have it's a dojo. We're gonna have a good time. Whatever. If you had a horrible day, if you bring that in here, you're gonna let that affect the whole training session, the whole mindset. You're gonna rob yourself of a potential great learning class situation, conversation, because of an external. And I'm sorry to harp on that, but again, that's what keeps coming back.
Bitch, you kill my vibe. Bitch, you kill my vibe. Bitch,
But if
kill
you
my
think
vibe.
about it as an artist, if someone comes in your studio with bad vibes, someone comes in the music studio, someone comes in the classroom, someone comes in, that negativity or the loudness or the goofiness can spread like this, you know?
And I work with toddlers.
There
You
you
feel
go.
them bad vibes. I'm
Yeah.
like, take that back out real quick and then come back in here. Stop while I cry. But in all seriousness, like, yeah, you definitely, and that's what I was kind of talking about earlier too, like feeling that.
Yeah.
You feel when someone walks in and that's why sometimes I'm like, how do people think I'm mad? I'm not
Yeah.
mad. I'm
Right.
just being quiet. Like, don't feel like, what am I throwing off? And I try to be more conscious of that too. Like, what am I throwing off? So try to smile a little more.
Don't care what people think. Worry
But
about
it's-
you on the right path.
But it's hard working with kids. Like, because since you're in a place where you're like, oh, this kid must be going through some shit. Like, it's got to be hard it's like a parent. You're at a place where you could impact this child in a big way. So it's got to be hard on you to even, I don't know, like that. Is that like some kind of weight on your shoulder?
No, because for me, that's why I chose like school counseling as my primary. I want to make a difference in a kid's life because I know what that feels like. So I had a really good school counselor. I never had to see her, but my sister had to see her. And the only reason I had to see her was because of my sister. But she was just nice. And how that like made me feel, like to just have somebody who cared. And she was like that for the whole school. This
Person
lady
that
was always
cares.
happy. So if I can be that, because I know how that felt to have that. If I can be that, come on, let's do it. You know, it really makes me feel like full, like in a good way, like full when I go on a home visit and the kid is happy to see me because we have a relationship. Or a
Right.
baby, I get to hold a baby and just talk to them, and it's like I get to be an extended part of this person's family because you build a relationship that close.
Yeah.
You know, so we just had an event, Breakfast with Santa.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we
How
had
was
an
that?
event. It was good turnout. A lot of parents participated, and I kind of said some words, and I felt myself like, as I looked around the room, I was like, man, like I've done such good work in this program. And I was so proud.
Wow.
And I looked at the parents engaging with their kids and doing these activities with them, and it just made me feel full of love that I started getting choked up. My coworker was like, you heard it in your voice, but it was like, I felt good to just see them like we're doing something here because my program was about to crumble, but it didn't. It didn't. Like I was the only staff member left. Like it was just a lot. It was a lot. But we got a new staff member, and you know, together we've made the best we could. And even that, even saying like, "Damn, look at what I've done here." I don't think I could have did this 2 years ago. I probably would have quit. But being able to stick with something and not quit when it gets hard, because I am queen of if it gets too hard, I'm quitting.
Why?
Because it's just easier. It's just easier. Who wants to be stuck? But now I know I have the tools to cope with things when they get hard.
So I maybe this is why. No, I won't. My perspective will be different. Like from young age, certain things like I would quit. And I didn't, deep down, I didn't like that. Like, no. And then when stuff would get hard, I learned in weight training, that's one of the easiest ones. No. Stick to it. If you stick to it, something will happen. Yes, it's the physical, but no, there's a mental thing that, I achieved something. Like you, when you felt like, when you actually see something come to fruition, hard work, the balance of, it might not work. But if you put into it, it comes out. To me, there's magic there. There's something that from the South by Southeast podcast, when I went in there, everyone we interviewed, they're successful in their own fields, musicians, artists, entrepreneurs, clothing designers, all types of talented individuals. And I would ask them questions. And the similar characteristics in that, it was, no, push forward for some reason, push. And it's like, to me, that's like a universal key again. And I love that, because if I can learn from this man, I can learn from you to better myself just from a conversation. How many other people can do that, you know? I love that.
So how many, remind me again, you guys are 8 episodes in?
I have no idea.
You guys are a few episodes in now.
I don't keep track. I don't like keeping track.
8, right? You guys are a few episodes in. How does it feel for you to sit across from other people and hear their stories, and even just people being vulnerable and sharing? Because that takes a lot.
Yeah.
It takes, I mean, my last episode, I feel like I'm talking a lot now, but I feel like my last episode was a lot.
You feel comfortable. And one thing, when I met with this guy, I felt comfortable around him. You know, I could talk to him, I could vibe. And like you see, when we're out, me and him together, our vibe, people see it. Immediately like, yo, I want to hang out with these guys. They're laughing, giggling, probably high, but they're the least non-threatening, open individuals. And people come to us, and other people see it, and they're like, oh. So it's like a piggyback effect. So it's pretty cool to... what was the original question? Sorry.
How does it feel for you to sit across from people and hear their stories, and for them to be vulnerable with you?
My point. Okay, so when just me and him were out together, people would talk to us, and we'd have amazing conversations, and I'd look to him and I'm like, bro, that was some profound or dope knowledge that this XYZ individual dropped on us. Where's our fucking mics, man? We can be mobile, you know? So to sit across from someone, to me, yes, I'm naturally, if something sparks my curiosity, I'm going down a rabbit hole. I'm done. And then if something really interests me, running or weightlifting, certain things, journaling, I get lost in it. I want to be great at it. I want to, not great. I want to see how far me as an individual can take that said skill. What's the best I can do? A personal, like, let me see. What's my highest score on a video game? Not competition with you. No. Let me see how skilled of a ninja, how skilled of a Jedi I am in certain things. So I apply that. I learn a lot. It's super exciting. I get closer to my friends. And it becomes a real genuine conversation because they pick up on that and they know, and then we get some real good information. We get, and to me it's hidden gems because I've known these people. I think they're super talented. If we can share those gems with whoever's listening, one person, my job's done. I feel good. I feel like I'm training, like I'm personal training in a different sense. I'm helping and without really lifting much of a finger.
Yeah.
That feels good. If I could connect with this man a little bit more, if I could connect with you a little bit more, we can work together, whoever's sitting down, I can learn more, or I can, well, I don't really agree with you. Why do you feel that way? I might learn something. You might change my mind. You might not. I might change your mind. You know, it's to me, it's, I want to see where this goes.
Yeah.
For me, at least. For you and Freddie, I don't know. He might be enjoying the journey.
Yeah,
This has been wild.
I love conversating with people and getting more deep in the friendship wise.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you understand me more as a person, how I think, and I understand you more as a person and how you think. I'm learning from you, you're learning from me. But to me, I see, like, I compare this to, we're creating a Bible for people.
Ooh,
Everybody
controversial
has,
words.
everybody has their own part in the book that they wrote, their own journeys,
Yeah, I get you.
their own ways of life that's going to teach others based out of what they read or what they hear. So that's why it's
Field manual. Let's say field
Yeah.
manual. So the Bible is kind of. My bad.
But it's a good
I get you.
people connect to it real fast. So yeah, we, through our lives and our journeys, we're educating ourselves and other people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I love in the fact that the people that are on here are just people that we know. It's people that are around us already.
Mm-hmm.
So it just feels so amazing to connect with them in that kind of moment, in the kind of way that you hit like a whole different level of a friendship or of an understanding. So I just love that we have so many different people too, different kind of ways of life, different kinds of life experiences.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like I was always a big fan of the History Channel and stuff like the education stuff. And so it's just me going into a YouTube rabbit hole or something, and just learning new things, new knowledge. It goes back to ancient knowledge. Like we're learning that ancient knowledge from different realms of this world, because everybody has their own realm of this earth.
Mm-hmm.
We're in the same realm of visually what we see, but in your head might be darker than mine. So we're all individually living in different worlds. And I'm a Voyager. This is what we do. This is what we do, voyaging and learning, and
Mm-hmm.
you know. So this is what I love.
So I'm curious, what's up next for you guys? I want to know.
I want to know too. 'Cause I have no idea.
You guys just seeing where the wind blows you? Are you know?
I have a general direction. I'm pretty sure Freddie does too. There's a lot of talent around. There's a lot of not only talent, but there's a lot of people and stories out there. There's a lot of knowledge out there. And this is one platform. This is one outlet. To me, I'm on my own personal voyage of finding many and all. Maybe not all, but I want to experiment with all types of different outlets.
Mm-hmm.
This is my human video game, like Cosmo. I don't only want to just play this. Oh, this interests me. I'm going to go play the fucking Picadillo. I'm going to play the fucking this, little ass guitar. To me, I've been wrapped up in physical. No, there's so much other. Which that's one journey, but that's not my only journey. Mm-hmm. There's so many others. And I think, how can we, because this man's very creative, how can we find creative ways where, again, you're reading my journal, where it doesn't become a job, where when we naturally flow and create like silly videos or whatever, it's on the fly. And to me, in my head, if it becomes a job, you're going to lose that creativity.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want this to become a job. I want this is an outlet. This is fun. And if we keep it, and using this man's mind and the whole general skeleton of there's so much out there that we can utilize to benefit the human mind, body, and soul. How can we, one, learn ourselves? Because we can talk to whoever we can go almost anywhere. Like, yo, can we have an interview with people we don't know? I want to learn. Now we might have access to it. Now I can learn. So, and then. What was I saying?
Hit the button.
Hit the button. Yeah.
I forgot what I was saying.
Damn, because my mind went sleep, left and right. I had two different things I wanted to say. And then when I was thinking about it, I lost everything.
It happens.
It happens. No, but I blame the yeah. Go ahead. What was I saying?
You were learning, creating from the stuff that we create together.
Oh yeah. So if we can, find creative ways to, again, the phrase student teachers come to mind. Where when I was a trainer, like I would think I'm learning, but I'm also sharing what I learned. Instead of me, like, I'm a drill instructor, I'm giving you directions. No. I'd rather be like a teacher. But I'm also a student because I'm learning. Because in the field of fitness, you're never going to... But in the field of everything that I'm learning, you're always... If you want to be good, there's always something more to learn. But that's part of the journey. And I like that. And I think with us, we have access to so much that potentially we can learn and share along the way in many different creative outlets, not just audio. Maybe we could do video. We can do multiple different fields in different ways. It can't just be a podcast. It could be something different. But the whole context is outlets, positive, not just outlets, just ways to help the human, right? For whatever reason here, just this, whatever, this, here's your computer, here's your Rolodex, plug it in, I have something for you. You're feeling down, you have an option of this, you have an option of that, you have an option for this. Pick. That would be, to me, that would be like a journal overall goal. Someone, whatever making you down, whatever, if we can do, have something for you where you plug and play. Because, again, I don't want to feel where it's the energy can get sticky and people can, where I need. No, put it there. It's a resource. It's there when you need it. When people are ready, they will go and they will find it. And they have proper, good information and multiple, a plethora of things they can do to whatever, plug and play. You want to be happy, you want to get fitter, you want to learn how to become a better guitar player. There's something there, in there.
Yeah.
At least in my brain, that's how it goes.
And for you?
Man, I really don't have, like, I just love what's happening. And it's very naturally becoming what it is without no guidelines or without no rules or nothing. It's just becoming what it naturally already is. So I like to follow what's already naturally happening and see where it takes me. Yeah. It's just like when I reflected back to the episode of South by Southeast when they asked me, like, what's next or what are your goals or something, and I'm like, I don't know, I don't have one. I just go with it. I'm enjoying what I'm doing now, so I'm just enjoying the moment. And it goes back to that thought where he said you don't want it to be like a job, but there has to be structure though.
Oh yeah, but
yeah. So like but yeah, just be able to create as a creator too. Open up that window of creation. Videos, music, voice, visuals, just everything, creation process, like being able to create together. That's Because to me, I like to do a lot of things together. I like enjoying things as a group. So the fact that I'm able to do this as a group is just amazing to me. It's self-satisfaction. Like whenever I travel, I try to take somebody with me so they could experience the same thing, and I feel good about it.
Yeah.
Like I'm teaching and learning from this situation. From this trip or whatever. But yeah, I'm just whatever happens, and I just love what it's becoming.
Yeah.
Same question for you.
Well, you know me, I like planning.
You rather have a structured list and everything.
I do. So for this year coming up, I have some episodes that I'm really excited to put out for you guys. More men on the podcast.
Oh, yes.
More men, because I feel like, men are ready to talk more.
You think so?
Yeah, I do.
Do you think there's hesitancy?
Oh, yeah, there definitely is. But I think...
From your woman perspective, why do you think men...
Well, because of the stigmas that men face when it comes to talking about their mental health. The perception, they don't want to be perceived as weak, or, just, I have to be strong. So breaking down those barriers. So I have an episode coming up in January with a guy who actually did My Mind If We Chat tattoos.
Oh, nice.
So the little brains I got,
yes.
he's coming on, and his story is, we talked while he did my tattoos, and having him on, I feel, is really gonna be a good thing for people to start seeing that you can be tough. I mean, he looks tough. Yeah. You can look a certain way, but your life experience can make you feel a certain way.
Everyone's human. We all have a CPU, a brain. What is your perception on that stigma? Well, why is it there? Why?
Past generations. The perception of don't talk about anything. Keep it all in.
Why though? Why? Was that just the way people handle things?
Yeah. Well, I mean, because if you look at, especially in my family, the way to cope is just drink. This is what you do. You just drink it away, and it'll go away. You'll be fine. But I feel like just patterns of behavior that contributes to it. Just society's perception of what mental health is. Oh, you're doing this for attention. This isn't real. You're making this all up, So like I said, just getting rid of those and seeing why people do what they do. Why individuals think the way they think, why they feel the way they feel. So we can just have better understandings of other people, but also, like I said, to end those stigmas. So big year plan, and I just plan the next couple years, just get this degree.
Nice.
Get this degree.
I do want to show appreciation for you putting a lot of men's perspective in your episodes.
It's the balance.
It's amazing because sometimes it tends to go one way, and I think when a woman talks about mental health, she focuses a lot in woman mental health, period, forgetting about the men and looking upon the men no, you're the wrong one, I'm the right one, and it gets too one-sided. And the fact that you bring men and that you talk to them and you express yourself to them and they're able to even open up is just amazing to hear, because to me, that's why I mention personal stuff that goes when I talk, because it's that's how you connect. That's how you really connect, real situations, real scenarios. And it's oh, okay, now I kind of understand you. It's more real. It's more understanding, because it's oh, this shit happens in his life. He's talking about shit that's going on in his life. And that's why I'm so happy that you opened up too. So thank you so much for opening up. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Because it is something very real that's in your life, and it makes people connect to you in a way different level than you just putting information out there like that. Talking to a personal level, you might impact that one more person that's gonna really be damn, bro, I feel you. I'm right there with you.
And I think this next story we'll hear in January with the tattoo artist, I think we'll feel that because I know I felt it. I really felt it. And even thinking about that episode, that's one of those where I'm like, I have to handle this with as much care as possible. Because I think about that a lot. Like, am I saying the right thing? I'm like, okay. And I do say sometimes, like, I don't say all the right things all the time. Like, I'm
You're
learning
human.
too.
Yeah. Well, from my experience, just with fitness, it's how you word things and how you say things. It can come off in a way. I've never meant to hurt or harm. That was never my intention. But people can get triggered by any little thing. And if, again, if I had a bad day and if it does come off in a harsher manner, it can come off in a different way than I never intended to, So that's the battle of, right?
Yeah.
The duel.
The duel.
Yeah, but I'm really excited to hear what you guys are going to come out with. And I'm excited to put out, like I said, this upcoming year, more men, more organizations. The 3rd annual Suicide Awareness Walk, which will be in September. That's going to be bigger.
Can we do the run too?
Can we interpret it a lot?
We're going to do some
meaning
walking, running, and maybe some biking. We got to talk off air, guys.
Right.
I like that.
Disc golfing?
We can do that.
Just to put a plug in, the Phoenix has disc golfing now.
Really?
They do one in Evergreen. I
Yep.
saw that they did one in Evergreen.
They have
that part's
bowling.
beautiful too.
They have bowling now. They go to theaters, and during October, they went to a haunted house. The Phoenix is killing it with all the stuff that they do and all the activities they provide. So I just wanted to mention them.
Yeah, shout out.
Yeah, wow. I think for your event, I know there might not be right now a huge group for running, but as your events get bigger and bigger, I know that there's groups that will travel. There's groups that if you put the word out, especially now when we're connecting with more people, more talent, more, and they vibe with us. And if we tell them, yo, come out, man, they'll come out.
Yeah. Well, planning is happening now.
Yes. So I want. Can we include? I'm sorry. I want to dabble in it right now. Let's include a run.
We are.
Yeah.
We are. Like I said, I will be talking to
Okay.
you gentlemen off air because
Awesome.
you got to keep some of the details in wraps.
Pineapples.
Yes. Pineapples. Got a flashy thingy.
I'm excited
Forget
for us to all work together. And again, thank you to Krista and Mikey for everything.
Shout
Good
out.
people.
Yes.
Good
Awesome.
people. And yeah, I can't wait to see what we're all going to do together.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wu-Tang.
Wu-Tang.
Ain't nothing to fuck with.